We OG. We OG, we OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. Started Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live for another Ordinal hour, and this one is going to be amazing, guys, because I think we all know that 2025 is going to be skyrocket to the moon, right? But what about 2024? Well, I have some amazing charts for you guys today that are going to get you so bullish that you're going to be sitting here saying, God damn it, I'm not bullish enough. And I think we're all going to be saying that in the next 5 to 12 days. I think we hit the all-time high in the next 5 to 12 days. Why? Why do I think that way? Well, we have something huge November 5th. And then November 7th, we have another rate cut decision made by Jerome Powell. So I think we have a lot of momentum right now. And a lot of people might be trying to front run that. And I think that's what we're seeing today. Right now, we're sitting at $68,654. I think we see 70,000 in the next couple of days, 74,000 in the next couple of weeks or so. Weeks? I hope not. It's not weeks, but I think it's going to be soon. I really do. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. We have a lot to go over. Bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Are you bullish enough, Yagobi? Are you bullish?
I'm extremely bullish. I'm extremely bullish. I got a new mic. I'm that bullish. I invested into a high quality mic, so hopefully the audience can hear me and it sounds better. I tested it out yesterday and it does sound better to me, at least. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be bullish right now. Bitcoin's price is kind of showing volatility, but like it's still an uptrend at the end of the day that we've been seeing, right? So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I'm bullish for the rest of this month. And we'll see what happens.
Do you smile more when Bitcoin's pumping?
Of course. Who doesn't smile when Bitcoin's pumping? Who doesn't smile when Bitcoin's pumping?
Let me share my screen here. And I should have done this earlier. But this is the first chart I want to show here. This is by a guy named Bob Lucas. We've been following Bob for a long time. Bob says Bitcoin on day 51 is 60-day average cycle and not breaking down near its high. This is right translated cycle, indicating consolidation since March is coming to an end. And you can see he has two different scenarios here. He has the first scenario where we hit 80,000 by November 16th, 18th.
Mhm.
So he has it right there, and he has a second scenario where we kind of go up, and we hit an all-time high, or 80,000 by December. And he has his third scenario where we don't actually hit 80,000 until February. But these are all right translated cycles, right? So I think Bobby's just used to say either going to have a left translated cycle or a right translated cycle, meaning the bull run's going to end sooner with the left and it's going to be longer with the right. A normal bull run usually lasts until November of the following year. So in this situation, a normal bull run would end November 2025. Bob now is saying that we're going to have a right translated cycle, which is going to end later than November 2025. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I do. And I think most analysts do agree. I'm not saying that I am an analyst, but most people are agreeing that this is kind of, we've lost that plot of the left translated cycle, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be from what a right translated cycle is. It's going to be more extended, right? How extended, how long, we don't know, right? So it'd be great if it does extend into 2026. That'd be pretty awesome. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot of different
Yeah.
variables that has not occurred in previous bull cycles, so it's gonna be interesting
Yeah.
how things react.
100%. I mean, we could this could be something that's incredible. Super cycle take us to 2027 before people really start taking profit, and then who knows? Maybe we go bullish right into 2028. I mean, if Bitcoin becomes a Federal Reserve asset like Trump is thinking about doing, that's monstrous, right? I mean, and let's just say they kind of get rid of big changes happen. Maybe the Fed kind of takes a step back from their duties, and maybe that is different going forward. Who knows what could happen to Bitcoin if that they really start backing it by the dollar, or the dollar gets backing by Bitcoin. I'm bullish, man. I'm really, really bullish. I think the next 4 years are going to be incredible, and I don't really think we get a severe bear market. I think the days of severe bear markets are over.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be more of like a macro type of situation in the future, right? Like if everything is
Yeah.
bad, then the markets are not going to be good versus the 4 year cycle and then very bad after that. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, we need to see how things are going to play out,
Yeah.
because this is different when mainstream TradFi comes into the game. We're talking about a
Yeah.
whole other game now, and so one thing that it brings is stability over time, as much as you might not like that the big guys are here. And you have the advantage now, though. So having the advantage now, you got to take advantage of that, because later on down the road, man, there's they have so much to invest in departments and different things to be able to be so proficient at trading in our industry
Yeah.
that we're gonna lose that edge.
We'll see. But Plan B says forget the exact numbers. Focus on the big picture. In my opinion, and I can be wrong, Bitcoin will jump an order of magnitude into the 18-month after the halving and is based on stock to flow. So he's kind of showing this chart right here. Let me bring this up. I love this chart. This is my favorite chart. But as you can see, the madness that has happened, and the madness that has happened, and look, we're just kind of entering the madness. You can see this over here was very sideways a little bit. This was up only. This was up only. But do you see up? Like, I mean, if we get anywhere near, let's just say that one, right? That kind of takes us to about my number at 700K. That's
Mhm.
just we repeat last cycle. So what do you think about this chart?
Yeah, it's a very interesting chart, but as you can see, do you notice a trend as you go along?
Less and less, yeah.
Okay, so we talked about this before. It might be a little different because of the ETF, so it could actually do kind of opposite of the trend. It could go higher, or it could continue with the trend. If it does
Yeah.
continue with the trend, then we're talking less than what it was previously, because you can see that's the trend before each cycle. And if that's the case, we're probably talking more on the lines of what I've been saying, 250 to 350. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I mean, according to this, giant up, giant up. But we both know this was very heavily manipulated by SBF and the bigger boys, right? But saying that, what's stopping from the bigger boys, that Larry thinks of the world, from doing the same on this cycle? So yeah, I mean, you could be right. We could see, let's just say we hit the line last time, us, just getting maybe just under the line, but still just under that line is still $400,000,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, that's pretty massive, but I think this cycle is different. I think there's gonna be just too many big players, and when I say too many big players, I mean nation states. I mean Nvidia. I mean Microsoft. I mean Apple. There's just too many big players that $1 trillion asset, or even in this scenario, a $10 trillion asset, is going to be heavily like wanted. You know what I mean? It's going to be sought after. So I don't know. I think 10 trillion is just the beginning, and I think we hit maybe 100 trillion going into the next 4 to 8 years. Honestly.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if those variables of TradFi coming in is going to make a big difference, right? That's the big thing that we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But I am a data guy. I love data. I love analyzing it. And the one thing that I can say is that trends matter. But also unique variables do too. So that's why this cycle's the hardest, in my opinion, to really get a gauge on like an estimate of a range where what Bitcoin can top out at.
Yeah.
It's just kind of let's enjoy the experience. We know that it should be crazy, and I think that's my mentality that I'm going to try to take with it.
Yeah, 100%. One last thing for Plan B here. He says Bitcoin is ready for next phase, and this is just basically the same chart, just different colors here. But as you can see, it's pretty much the same. It's just he's just ready, man. Plan B. I've never seen Plan B so active in the last week or so, and we knew that he took the entire summer off. Like he was on a boat. He had a picture of a boat as his last comment, and it was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and now he's back and he is in full let's go mode. And a lot of people say, Plan B failed, the stock to flow failed already, but I mean, this will be the cycle that really says if Plan B is a failure or he is dead on. And I actually think he's dead on. I actually believe in the stock to flow.
Yeah. Again, this is something that we have to wait and see. The main difference is TradFi regulations probably going to come in. That's going to change some things. You know what I mean? That's going to change a lot of stuff in terms of the flow of how we've known it, right? I think that is probably the only thing that we can be close to 100%, positive, is that something is going to change from this 4-year traditional crypto cycle that we're so used to. What that big change is, what is it going to look like? Will it do what gold did and even out and be more stable and less, gold, this, everything, possibly, when you have billions and billions of dollars pouring into it from institutions, that becomes a whole nother thing. But it's like people that were in early. A lot of people are like Mark Cuban, like how smart was he? Yes, he was a business owner. He positions himself very well, but man, his company, like, it doesn't even exist anymore. The one that he sold for like a ton of money. You know what I mean? Like it went, I think Yahoo paid like billions, like a crazy amount of money for it. But that's kind of the situation we're in terms of timeline. We're in this early situation to where, a lot of these projects, some of them are not going to be around in 10, 20 years, but some of them are going to be huge. And, you got to pick the winners, and you can pick the short-term winners, make good, life-changing situations. And then, you were paying attention early enough to where you benefited.
Yeah, 100%. But Yahoo bought his company, so it kind of just pushed
Absorbed
all the
it.
employees and absorbed it completely. So that's why it's not really around anymore.
But it wasn't
one
good
thing about
enough to continue, though, is my point. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't, that
Well-
product isn't being utilized today, like, heavily, like
yeah,
with Twitch or something. Twitch was
Yeah.
absorbed by Amazon, and it's still a huge platform, is what I'm trying to say.
100%. Yeah, I agree. One last chart here, I promise. This one has got me bullish. This is actually Cryptos Are Us, another YouTuber. If you don't know who he is, he's been around for a long time. He said we are only 13% through this halving cycle. We move either ever closer to when BTC blasts off. And he shows this chart. So 13% is basically what he's saying is a halving cycle lasts 4 years. We are 13% through that 4-year period. And as you can see here, every chart is kind of showing once we get out of that 13% period, upward movement. And we're just about to see the upward movement. So another chart that is pretty much saying we're at the end of the line here. Either we're going to continue trend or we're going to break trend, and it's time for Bitcoin to make that that thing up. Could we get a little bit more sideways? Yeah, sure. But I think everyone's thinking the same thing right now. And I mean, you do have that thing that goes into my head a lot. If everyone's thinking one way, the big boys like to push it the other way, right? The TradFi. So, do you think we're going to get continuation of what everyone thinks, or do you think that the big boys are going to try to sucker everyone in and kind of just short the world here?
I mean, that is something that has crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I don't like to think about that, because if you think about it, who hates crypto the most? It's the
Jamie
bankers,
Dimon. Yeah.
right? And so, you know, like setting up this huge expectation, knowing the 4-year cycle and all that stuff, and then dumping on the crypto industry is like the biggest like middle finger that they could do. I just don't
Yeah.
think that I don't think that they have enough firepower to do it. I mean, BlackRock could, right, with them, and the entire industry could, but I still think Bitcoin would survive it. It
Yeah.
just, yeah, I don't like that's like a doomsday situation in my opinion.
No, I 100% agree. But it's definitely worth thinking about. You can be as bullish as you want, but you have to understand who's in right now. Right now it's the bankers, but later it's going to be, it's going to be these companies, and then after that it's going to be these nation states, and whether that's this cycle or next cycle, with the nation states, it's going to be soon. But this cycle is definitely going to be the corporations because they all see what MicroStrategy is doing, and they all want a piece of that. They all want to look like winners because when you look like a winner, you get bonuses. And that's what they want from the board. So that's in my opinion that they're all kind of pushing towards making as much money as they can. And who knows what happens with the dollar in the future anyway. We're going to keep inflating it to death. So Bitcoin again comes in with that as well. But let's get into some more bullish stuff here. Hong Kong says they will issue more crypto exchange licenses by the end of 2024. So in June, me and you were hype on this. Hong Kong can officially put out an ETF. This is huge. We're hype on this. You're allowed to have an exchange now in Hong Kong. This was massive. Do you think this is like more bullish than last time? Uh-oh. I don't hear you. Uh-oh.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
I'm still learning about my new mic, man. If I barely touch it, it actually turns mute. But anyways, what I was saying is I think it's more bullish because of where we are in the timeline of the cycle, right? And
Yeah.
so last time it was still kind of heating up. It's always going to be less than like the US, the largest financial market nation, right? And so, but being in the fact that we're going to be further along in the cycle, yes, I'm bullish on this. I'm bullish on this because at the end of the day, China is kind of passing down like the yes or no final say of Hong Kong and stuff like that. So that means China is saying, hey, this is okay. So yeah, this is definitely a bullish indicator for the upcoming bull run.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think this is more bullish than in June. I think, other exchanges were probably watching. Bigger players were probably watching and seeing how it goes, and now they're kind of seeing the bullish momentum, and they want to get in. So that's why I think this is even an issue. Otherwise, they wouldn't even want more licenses going forward. But next thing here is Tether now owns 82,454 Bitcoin worth $5.5 billion. So let me ask you this: with knowing the FUD that happened on Friday with fake news coming out and saying that they're going to be looking at Tether, to me, was that fake news or did they jump the gun? That's always a question, right? Was this information leaked and they're not going after them yet? But do you think Tether is using this Bitcoin obviously to make wealth, put their wealth into Bitcoin, or do you think they're buying Bitcoins because the government can't take it? If they shut down Tether, they can just leave with the private keys.
I think it's just a strategic way of showing that they have collateral, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you left off a part of this story probably because you aren't crazy about gold, but they mentioned that they hold
Yeah.
a ton of gold as well. You know what I mean? And you know, I think that's smart for them, not just because I obviously I'm more bullish on the future of Bitcoin than gold, but showing the world that hey, like we have this much Bitcoin and we have this much gold reserves, like whatever FUD that came out last week, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that and plus I think they were going through an audit or something during the time of the FUD. And so he wanted to kind of wait, or whoever announced this wanted to wait until all that was done and then release this information. But every time that they go after Tether, like Tether proves that they have collateral or whatever. Now, have they had the federal government go in and do a federal audit? No, I don't think they're not going to do that. But so it is kind of a little bit of a trust me, bro, or you know, a third party auditor that you got to kind of trust, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tether's probably going to be okay. You know what I mean? They've been around for a while. They've been challenged multiple times.
Yeah, I think the government now that's in place hates Tether. Tether is an offshore company. They're not an American company, so they don't pay taxes. You know, they're taking the US dollar and they're backing it. And I think the US wants to be the leader in that. And until Tether's kind of pushed back a little bit, the US can never become the leader in stablecoins, no matter who does it. BlackRock, Fidelity, it doesn't matter because Tether will always lead the way. And as Tether gets bigger, they're going to keep accumulating more assets and be able to back more and more and more. They have a huge name, they're trusted, they have so much FUD on them already. There's nothing that can really stop them, unless these big corporations and big governments come together and they shut down Tether. So to me, I think this $5.5 billion in Bitcoin is not only, you know, to show, hey, we have assets, but also to cover themselves in case they get shut down, because you cannot confiscate Bitcoin. If they're self-custodying it, which I know they are, this is another way for them to kind of say, you know, you can come in, you can take our gold pieces of paper, because that's what it is. You can say you're investing in gold, but unless you have a safe somewhere that's underground with actual gold in it, your gold's not safe. It's just paper backed, right? So, and the same thing with the bonds, they're just paper backed. At the end of the day, they can confiscate them without even going to Tether. But having this $5.5 billion in Bitcoin, it's unconfiscatable by a government.
I wouldn't
Or
say
anything.
that. You know, they confiscated the Silk Road Bitcoin, right? So
That was different though, because a lot of it was on exchanges.
okay, so
So if they don't put this on exchanges, the only way they can confiscate Bitcoin is if it's on exchanges. So what happens is the exchange will just freeze it, and they send it to the government.
So do we know that the Silk Road Bitcoin was on exchanges? Because I would imagine that they would probably pressure, you know, the people in charge of the, you know, the website and stuff to hand over the Bitcoin, or else, you know, they'll get more severe punishment.
Yeah, I'm
But
pretty sure 90% of it was sent to exchanges from these wallets, and they were just waiting, and they were just confiscating it from the exchanges on the
okay,
cash
I
out part of
mean
it. I could be
that
wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I mean that makes the most sense from a, you
Yeah,
know, quick logical standpoint. But anyways, like, so you could all obviously use lawfare, right, to try to pressure people. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you just say you don't know, then you don't know, like that. Yeah, I mean, but I don't think that that's why they're putting this out there. I think they're
yeah,
putting this out there to show their strength.
yeah. I mean, that could be too, but I think they're smart. I think the crypto people are just smart, and I think that's another way to, you know, keep their money unconfiscatable. But who knows? Because I do think they're gonna try to shut them down eventually. But
Well,
anyway,
if they do, that's going to be a bloody day for Bitcoin.
well, yeah, it will be. No, I agree. But that could be the end of the that could be the end of the bull market, right? Something like that happening. But we'll see. Chamath says, and Chamath, if you don't know who Chamath is, Chamath Palihapitiya, he's a podcaster, but he's an investor. He was early Facebook. He bought Bitcoin in 2013. He bought $1 million worth of it, and he sold it. So he doesn't really hold any Bitcoin as of now. But he's saying Bitcoin will be the resounding inflation hedge asset for the next 50 to 100 years. So right now, the big resounding inflation hedge is gold, but Chamath's saying that it'll eventually be Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree with him. He's really smart guy, and he's the Indian American that is on the All In podcast.
Yep.
You know, you should check out that podcast. It's actually really good. A bunch of great, amazing business minds, right? And then you have like all those successful people like David Sachs and
Hmm.
like who else? Chamath obviously is on there. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with him. I think it's gonna be like we all think that. Like I think like
Yeah.
8% of our audience probably thinks that as well. So this is just another kind of affirmation that someone that's been highly successful is coming in and making us feel good about it. Right? Our thoughts are ready. It's like, you know,
100%.
sometimes you just need that, right? Like where someone smart agrees with you, and then you're just like, yeah, I knew it. So I feel like this is kind of that situation.
Yeah, I love Chamath, and it's so weird. Chamath got really bearish on Bitcoin in November of 2021. I remember listening to the All In podcast and being like, "Come on, Chamath," and he was selling. He even sold the Golden State Warriors in November of 2021. Like he knew when to get out, and I'll be paying close attention to the All In podcast towards the end of this bull market. So we'll see. But next thing here, this is a big day to me. Thursday, November 7th at 2 p.m. is the FOMC interest rate decision. And then 2:30 on November 7th is the Fed Chair Powell press conference. So you got to remember what happens November 5th. And we're hearing that Georgia and a couple of these other states won't have the results until a couple of days later, which could lead exactly to November 7th. So November 7th, we could find out who the next president is and have a rate decision cut. In my opinion, it's going to be a cut. It's the same exact day. Do you think that is when we get that extra bullish momentum to really push us to the 80K?
Well, I mean, yeah, if they both go in the same direction, right? So,
yeah. Or it could be push us back to 60, right? If we get the results that we don't want.
Yeah,
A pause
exactly.
and yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I think with that, yeah, I mean that day could be huge.
Mhm.
And the rate cut part, I don't think the rate cut part's gonna be as big. I think it's gonna be more of, you know, what that
0.25.
well, yeah, this is what everybody
Because a
expects,
pause
right?
would be bad. Because a pause would take us out of a rate cut cycle officially.
Yeah, but there's a very, very, very low percentage chance that that's going to happen, because when you start, you don't stop, right, for a while.
True.
I think more than anything, it's the result of the election that, you know, people are kind of waiting on, right? And
Yeah.
I think that will push us whatever direction we go for November for a while, and then December, I think no matter what, it's going to be kind of an up only situation, whether that's a, you know, small up only versus a supercharged up only.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next thing here. This is from Van Eck. They say our bet is this is a very bullish setup for Bitcoin into the election. Matthew Siegel, head of digital assets. So he's saying basically what we're all saying here. So Van Eck was on CNBC this morning. They had a lot of quotes like this. This is basically basically saying what Bob Lucas and Plan B were saying. He also said 3 new BRICS nations are mining Bitcoin with government resources. So Argentina, UAE, United Arab, what's the E?
Emirates.
And Ethiopia. So these are 3 new countries, nation states that are mining Bitcoin. And then one last thing Van Eck said, he said they project $3 million Bitcoin price by 2050, envisioning Bitcoin as a global reserve asset held by central banks. So these are 3 comments back to back to back by Van Eck on CNBC. They weren't talking about a lot, but they talked about Bitcoin. And what of these 3, what do you think is the biggest? The setup, BRICS nations, or them projecting $3 million Bitcoin by 2050?
I think the BRICS nations. I think the BRICS nations. And the reason why is because if you look at, you know, it's not necessarily about what the BRICS nations necessarily is doing. I think it's more about like these other countries, right? That might be guided by BRICS, right? Because I've said this many times on this on our show, right? That I think that the 2 major continents below the equator, which is South America, I'll throw Central America, even Mexico in there, and Africa, have the biggest opportunities for the next 50 years. I think probably Latin America a little bit more, but you can see Ethiopia is kind of joining, you know, with this mining situation. And you know, countries that have been so used to being like in the poverty level, right, the lower kind of the third world country, have an opportunity to really flip things. And a lot of these countries have amazing natural resources, right? And a lot of these big powers have sucked those resources out. But outside of those resources, I'm talking about like touristy type of situations,
Yeah.
beautiful beaches, you know, amazing mountains and stuff like that. And I think that this can really change a lot of the trajectory of the futures of these countries that have been living in such like bad conditions. I'm happy about that. And I think Bitcoin
Yeah.
can bring that to them. So if they start mining now, or if they start utilizing Bitcoin in their reserves and stuff, I think they can get a stable currency themselves. And that's something they've been lacking for the past, you know, century.
Yeah, and they're front running the U.S. government, right? That's huge.
Which is even more wild.
I know. We're supposed to be the innovators, and we're taking a step back in this industry, which is it's you know, it's good for them. Good for them, right?
Yeah.
Time is running out before Bitcoin liftoff. Position yourself with Bitcoin ecosystem assets. So obviously, we know that Bitcoin's about to take off. Everything we read today was super bullish. There's barely any bearishness, right? So what do you get from this? Time is running out before Bitcoin's liftoff. So how much time do we have left?
You know, if I were to just put like throw a dart in the dark, I would say, you know, we probably, well, obviously November 5th and through 7th is a big deal. But I actually think that we jump up before that a little bit, anticipating it, right? Front running it. So I think before that, so maybe like towards the end of this week is kind of where we'll probably front run it, maybe try to get to 72. There's a big liquidation pocket, I believe, still there. That it might hit that, right? And then bounce down and go from 69 to 70, 71 until the results are in. And then I think after that is really, you know, you're not gonna have much time left. But you know, jumping to like 80, 85 mid-November towards like closer to Thanksgiving, and then pull back again, and then December is really when I think we're gonna get hyper aggressive.
Yeah, I agree. I think anything you buy right now, is not just like someone in my DMs was like, "Hey man, what should I buy?" And I said, "Hey, like, and I don't like give financial advice, but buy the top 5 runes, buy the top 5 BRC20s, buy the top 5 ordinals." You know, I just don't see anything not making you money. I mean, obviously, you know, I could be wrong, and that's why, you know, nothing on this channel is financial advice, but like I just can't see anything in this ecosystem not 10x.
Yeah, and it's very funny you say that, because like I was having lunch with my mom. I want to say it was Saturday, right? And I was trying to. She was like, you know, why are you guys covering Bitcoin and stuff, right? And I explained it to her. I tried to break it down in the simplest form, and I said, well, you know, there's this on-chain economy that started in early 2023. You know, Shizzy and I talked a lot about, you know, covering the space because it made sense. And the more that we were here, we realized that that started to grow. But more than that, you have to think about the market. You know, everything that we do with the on-chain economy on layer one is priced in Bitcoin. So that's a big deal, because like, you know, Bitcoin jumping up to like, let's say it does hit your high mark at 700K. Now 0.1 for, you know, or 0.12 for a node monk is a totally different game, because at the end of the day, we still live in the United States and we still pay for things with cash, right? So 0.1 at 68,000 versus 0.1 at 750,000, that's a big difference. And so
75 grand. Yeah.
exactly. And so when I explained that, she kind of like opened her eyes pretty big, and I was like, that's why we're covering the spaces, because I think people aren't thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
They're thinking about what's right in front of their eyes right now, which is Solana. That's fast gains, quick, you know, pump fun stuff right now. But later down the road, when Bitcoin is 250, 350, if we have that extended super cycle, 400,000, these assets that we're in right now, they might be 0.05 Bitcoin, but that 0.05 Bitcoin is going to be cash money. You know what I mean? And so that's why, you know, I think that it's safe. You know, so whenever you have that mindset of the future, what will these marketplaces look like? What will these assets look like then? And I think people are going to be smiling.
Yeah, I love that assessment. 100%. I couldn't agree more. Jump to the next thing here. Bitcoin Fear and Greed. This thing's like damn stable coin, bro. So last week 73, yesterday is 74. Where do you think we're at today?
75.
Pretty close. I'll give it to you. 72. So we're
Okay.
in the middle, like, you know, a little under last week.
So we were
a little
pumping
under
yesterday, and then it went down. That's a little weird.
Well, I think over the weekend we kind of went down. So we don't see Saturdays, and I think we're in the 60s. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I do think we were up from Saturday. But this is, you know, this is just not the most stable. This is without a doubt the calm before the storm. Like, I just don't see it any other way. Like, this is, I've never seen this thing. We've been covering this thing for a couple months now. I've never seen this thing so damn stable. It is insane.
Yeah, it definitely has been stable with this. Because before, you're right, like, you know, before this month, it was every day would be a 15-point swing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's definitely got that calm before the storm type of situation. Kai, our guy Kai, says slow grind up. Thanks for the comment there, Kai. But I agree, it has been kind of like this slow grind up with kind of pullbacks, because it's weird. You know, June, July, August, definitely hit in the gut like a lot, right?
Yeah.
With some fake outs to the top and or up to the uptrend. But then as of this last month, it's been like, you know, fake outs to the downside. So it's like good slow grind up, fake out to the downside. Looks like, oh no, here comes another nasty bloody dump, but then it doesn't happen. You know,
Yeah.
that FUD comes in, you know, with the stuff happening in Israel, and that was last week. Tether, it didn't do much, you know what I mean? Like that in August would have definitely taken us out down $6,000 to $7,000 from Bitcoin price. So it's like there's this like understanding of where we are, but the top isn't being blown off yet. So that's kind of, I feel like that's why we're having this consistency.
We're so stable with so much uncertainty, so much fear, so much doubt, but yet we're sitting stable. Like, imagine what happens when we get bullish news. Like, just imagine if we come in one to Monday morning and Microsoft says they bought Bitcoin, or like, you know what I mean? Or the Fed cuts another 50 points. Like, just imagine any good news would do to this market. This market is a freaking barrel of gasoline, dude. All you got to do is throw one little match, bro, and we're going to get an explosion to the upside.
100%. I think that's like a really good actual description. Where we are right now, it is like a barrel of gasoline. But like people are like, okay, keep your distance. Don't you guys smoke 100 feet away? You know, now you can smoke about 80 feet away. You know what I mean? And then like once they're like, okay, you can smoke right next to it. Bam! That's whenever, you know, the top gets blown off, and we're all like, you know, singing on Ordinal Revolution and having a great time, and it's gonna, so that we're not far away from that. I don't think
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But let's get into what today looks like. Let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by the great people at Bitperp. Bitperp is going to be the leading leverage exchange trading on Bitcoin. They're going to run it over here, guys. Would you truly believe that? Their testnet is up and running on multiple chains. You can do BitLayer, you can do B squared, and you can do Core DAO right now. And I'm having fun playing with it. And I'll show you some of my losing trades now because I got a little greedy today. We're gonna get into that. Really excited for Bitperp. You're gonna be able to do 100x on $1 Billion Cat, on Dog, on your favorite runes, on your favorite BRC20s, on your favorite, you know, L2 coins. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be degen. It's going to be how we all like it, hot and fresh, because you will be earning the BTP token the entire time you were messing with this testnet. So I highly recommend you guys start playing with it.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action for this Monday, brought to you guys by Bitperp. If you're on the YouTube side, guys, smash that like for us. It helps us out a lot. And subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, if you wouldn't mind, share this space so we can educate and onboard as many people as possible, and hit that like as well. We're going to be doing a Twitter post later, maybe today or tomorrow, for the beyond rest of the whitelist spots for that. Just wanted to put that out there as well. All right, so let's take a look here and see what is going on with Bitcoin's price action. I'm on the hour chart, no, 8-hour chart. Hour chart now for the Bitperp charts here. You can see all you got to do is click on trading view and then go to indicators, and you can add your indicators. I added the stochastic RSI and the MACD, and as you can see, we are starting to kind of trickle back down from that big rise up that we had at 69,000. I think 400 is the highest we got to. But it's been like that, right? It's been like that the past couple times we've tried to challenge. Last week I think we challenged 69,420 and bounced right below it. So it's kind of like that analogy we gave, with the gasoline. It's like people are like, nope, not yet. And that's what we're seeing here on the charts as well. You do see that we are starting to come out of the strength on the buy pressure for the MACD, and then the stochastics looks like it's ready to head back down on the hour chart. So I do think that today is going to be a kind of back and forth, nothing spectacular. We're not going to, I don't think we like try to break 70,000 or anything like that. We still have a whole week left. And well, actually, I think what the last day of the month is Thursday. So we have up until Thursday, until the month ends. And we have some economic data coming in, some other things as well. I do think that we do end up trying to, front run the election though. So we're green right now. If you look at the October versus September, so we are kind of where I said I thought we would be. But for the rest of today, I do think it's going to just be kind of, back and forth between 68 and 69,000. On the 8-hour chart, it's very similar. We are weakening here on the. So this gives us a weak kind of forecast, weakening on the MACD, same thing with the stochastics and stuff. But I'm going to get a little bit deeper here with the trading view charts here. So what I like to do is kind of see how, at least recently, because it's given me a pretty good forecast in terms of where Bitcoin possibly could go on the hour chart to see, how long has the trend been above the 50-day EMA. For the hour chart, we've been pretty strong. We got above it on Sunday, stayed above it, haven't really tested it, even the high end of the 50-day EMA. So looking pretty decent there. And then on the 4-hour, which is my favorite time frame of all, because it does give you kind of a 2 to 3 day look. I mean, 68.5 is not bad. We're higher than when we ended yesterday, and this uptrend is still there on the 4-hour. So for the next 2-3 days, we're looking pretty good. You can see the MACD is looking pretty strong here for the 4-hour chart. We just got into overbought territory on stochastics. If you look at the support and resistance, this is going to from the 13th of October. So data from the 13th of October, you can see at the 68.4, we have more support than resistance by about 1,200 buys. Let's see what we look like here. Yeah, so then we jump up to kind of the 68.6, where it's a lot more even. But I like what the trajectory looks like for the next 2-3 days. I think that we could possibly knock on the door of 70K maybe by Wednesday, unless some other crazy news. I do think that the news that might affect it in terms of a negative price has to be very strong, because if you think about the news from last week, you had people flooding Tether. That usually does a lot of impact, and it did some, but it was found to be fake. And then you had the news of North Korea kind of joining the war over in Russia and Ukraine, and it really just bounced back, including the Israel stuff, right? So we're higher than we are now. We're higher now than we were back then, and that was just on Thursday, Friday, right? So I do expect us to break through 70K by the end of this week.
But by you saying that gets me really bullish, and today I have to pick a long or a short. So let's see. I got no positions open right now. I closed them all, and I'm sitting with about $99,000. Just because I'm so good at this. And then just kidding. So I want to take a 10. Would you advise me not to take a 10x leverage here? Because 10x I think is pretty fair. In the sense, I am using a lot of money. I'm using my whole account here. I'm using 99,000, and this isn't financial advice at all. But would you advise me not to do this?
I probably would, just because it is the hour chart, like MACD looks a bit exhausted. I think that it will probably, like that here, let me show my screen. It probably will try to kind of test the top end of the 50-day EMA. It'll try to, at least. And if it does, that's probably when you want to see where it bounced. Where has it shown support to where it keeps bouncing, right? So this price right here, 67 650 has shown that like once it gets down to the top of this 50-day EMA on the hour chart, at least 67 500 around there, that might be a good point, because if it goes a little bit lower than that, at least you have all this room up here. I don't know. That's kind of, I just think that right now you're kind of buying it as it's going down. You know what I mean? As it's going down. And when I mean going down, 68,000, that might be a good place too, 68,000 around there. Just kind of look at where that support has come in and shown to kind of bring it back up. I mean, this is I'm not gonna lie, the hour chart looks really strong. If you look since Sunday, at 7 a.m., even so, like once it was kind of challenging the 50-day EMA, it like hung around there. And this was the only time in the past like 4 days it dropped below the 50-day EMA. It did develop a trend here on Friday, but then it bounced up and down and then got into there, and then now it just looks really strong. But until we have probably a little bit of that uncertainty that might be causing it to not blow off the top, that might be November 5th. You might keep seeing.
Let me ask you this:
go back and forth.
Do you think we hit 62,000? Or
so there's
70?
I know there's
70,000.
I know there's a liquidity pocket at like 64,000, 64,000 something.
Sold.
To
sold.
66. Well, you're gonna short.
I'm gonna go long because I don't think we hit 60. I think we hit 70 before we hit 61, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So for that situation, I'm risking it all, but it's paper money, right? So at the end of the day, I'm not losing 91,000, but I think I have more to gain here than lose. So I know I'm going against your advice here, but let's see what happens. We'll check this out tomorrow. So my order was created, and I'll give this a refresh. This is bitperp.io, guys. If you need a VPN, we do have some at orderrevolution.com, so you guys can play. Okay, so my order is in. So we'll check this tomorrow. We'll see if your advice was right, and I shouldn't have taken it. But right now, I'm down $1,000. So I'm down about 0.95% already. So, but we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But let's get into the roll call here. We got a lot of people in here for a Monday. Shout out to you guys. We have 290 people. Shout out to every single one of you guys. First is first. And guys, I do know a lot of people, for some reason, YouTube had an issue with early commenters. They just deleted everything. It wasn't us. I apologize if you were first and you didn't get it, but I can only go by what I'm seeing here. And Yasher was number one. Shout out to Yasher. That's our guy. Number two, Bitmap Gallery. Shout out to you, my friend. Steamy J is here. Shout out to Steamy J. That's my guy. Joko is here. Six is here. Six says, I'm about to adopt a mega litter of Billy Cats. 30x, in my opinion.
Let's go.
Well, hold on. So tomorrow or the 29th and 30th are huge unlocking. I think you're going to be able to get them a lot cheaper than you will today. So just be aware of the huge, as 485 Billy Cats are getting unlocked. I don't think they'll all hit the market, but I do think some do. So just hold off on that for like 2 days. But I think November 1st and 2nd, I think you're right. I think 30x from there for sure. Right? You agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, and I think that's a good bit of news to put out to the community in general, because you always want to be careful when there's an unlock for anything, right? Fungible tokens or collections, but who knows? Maybe someone puts together another staking vault soon. So I think we need a leader of the Billy Cats, man. Let's get some spaces going.
Sixes, we're counting on you, man. Be a leader. Joko is here. Shout out to Joko. Inagi is here. Batsui. I'm just going to call you Bat. Bat is here. Bat, my man Bat. TKO is here. TikTok is here. Good name for our show title today. Tim Baker is here. Lackey Lukey with a Billy Cat. Shout out to Billy Cats. Inagi Fixed is here. Mempool Punk is here. James Stack says Shizzy for Glizzy. Thank you, bud. I appreciate any comment. You being here every day makes me happy. Thank you, sir. Jules Tabat is here. Nighthawk is here. Click Bang is here. ASAP Benji is here. I said Nighthawk. John is here. Shout out to John here. Always here for the roll call. Ordinals Tweets is here. I don't see his brother.
No. Where's he at? Is he
oh
okay?
No. Find your brother, bro. Yagobi and Bullish Sammy Turnpike right down the street. Shout out to Sammy Turnpike. Good morning, Shizzy, Mr. Yagobi. Happy new week. Yeah, man, it's a new week. Mice Elf is here, and then he hits it again with a Shizzy, Glizzy, and Yago Billy. James Stock is
Yago
making me
Billy.
laugh today, man. Yago Billy. Cash Cats is here with a GM, a coffee, and a donut, and a dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats. We like to call him our coach. Coach Cash is in the building. Patty Poo is here. Alao is here. Glizzy and Bullish. Shout out to you, man. Ant-Man is here. Green Man is here. All the mans are here today. Dumbo is here.
Who mans is
Mr.
that?
Sheedy. Smash that like button. Shout out to Mr. Sheedy. I love Mr. Sheedy. That's my guy. Mats is here every single day. Mats. And then J-Rod. Shout out to J-Rod. Bitmap. Chief Axel is here. Nope. No is here. Kai Effect is here. I'm gonna spotlight this. We'll come to that later. Wonder Boy is here. I think it's your first time I've seen you in roll call. Shout out to you, my friend. Pulp is
Welcome,
here.
welcome.
Kai Effect. Big Rod is in the building.
Hey.
The Big Rod is here. Thought on Gizmo Cat. Picked up some on the dip. Gizmo Cat. That's the 5,000 collection. If I'm right,
are you
right?
talking about? Rod? Are you talking about the rune? Or are you talking about the ordinal art collection? If you are talking about the ordinal art collection, it's like we both have different thoughts on each. So
yeah,
let us know, and then we'll answer it once we get to the QA part.
Yep. He says also keep up the great content, guys. Best ordinals channel. Thank you, my friend. On the two.
Appreciate
That means
it,
a lot
sir.
to us. Thank you. He said ordinal. He said the ordinal. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm
go ahead.
I'm bearish on it. I'm not sure your thought on it, but go ahead.
Like the one that is the right one, I think will do well. Or I think it will do to where you can make money. But don't take that as financial advice. I think where the problem is that whoever that other person was that launched the other one, I mean, they really did a disservice. So if they're in the puppet community, they kind of screwed the puppet community. But I do think the original one, that kind of like Business Math ETH and Big God and all them, I think that one will do pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if the puppet, the person who created the puppets and everything else with them, and the opiums, I think if he made the art, I think I'll be bullish on it. But for that fact that he did not create the art, I'm kind of bearish on it. But if he does create an art collection with that, that'd be pretty cool. So that could actually be. So it's hard to say, Big Rod, man. Just good luck. We definitely wish you luck in your investment there. And he says, cheers, guys. Shout out to Big Rod, man. And the rest of everyone who makes roll call, you guys mean so much to us. I know it was on a little later side today because we had a lot of Bitcoin news, but we're definitely going to get into some crypto stuff before Merlin Monday. But so we got something here. We have Liquidum. Liquidum community remains unmatched, setting a new record. 480 loans on layer 1 Bitcoin in 24 hours. This was Saturday going into Sunday. What do you think? Liquidum, man, blowing the roof off DeFi and Bitcoin. Really, besides Fluid, really one of the few projects that are actually building DeFi on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, Liquidum was the first dApp that I guess you could call a dApp on Bitcoin Layer 1 that we've known about, right? So you do have to give them credit for that and their accomplishments. They do have a lot of support with, just a lot of the, I don't want to say, well, I mean, they kind of are like the cabal type of, groups here, but also the BTC Startup Lab. So that was like the BTC Startup Lab's golden child, right? That came out of their one of their cohorts. And they initially, for just some history for you guys, Liquidum was initially trying to build on stacks, and then ordinals happened, and there you go. Like they pivoted and they saw what we saw in ordinals, and now they are big in ordinals. And you can't miss Liquidum every time you go to like a ordinals event or a crypto conference or a Bitcoin conference, because they're always they're throwing an event, a party or whatever. We've been to them. So really cool guy, Robin. We met him a couple times in person. So I think the biggest thing with them is like how much control do the VCs have that invested in them, right? Because I think with them, the problem is that like the VCs they haven't gotten their profit back, and they expected it to be already or whatever. And I was just a little confused in that. I was like, we're not in the bull market yet, dude. But I do think that should be an easy $100 million market cap, but don't take that as financial advice.
100%. And I met Robin in New York. He was awesome. And then in Nashville, he was kind of weird to me. I went up to him and I said, "Hey, Rob, man, congratulations on the launch, man. It's huge, dude. It's monstrous." And he said, "Do you know where the food's at?" I was like, all right.
Did he big time you?
All right,
Did he
bud.
big time you?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But I was just like, all right, dude. And that was kind of what my opinion with him. But we'll see. Francis Dune at Crypto Lifer. He's I'm sorry, the Crypto Life 17 hours. Sats pump fund meme coin. Understanding the pump mentals. So he's saying there will be a negative supply shock on this new PSYOP Cat 20. What do you think about this? And 80% of it will be airdropped, 20% will be added to DotSwap as liquidity. But what do you think about this potential negative supply shock?
How will that work? If 80% is being airdropped and 20% is going to LP.
He's doing something with the I guess maybe a burning event. I don't know. So there's gonna be something. I gotta read through. He put up 8 messages to read to it. But if it does have a negative supply shock, what could that do for a Cat 20?
I mean, it could be big. It could be really
Yeah.
big. Number one, I think maybe an idea could be for the people that like basically every time you sell, like a certain the fee that
Yeah.
DotSwap takes is part of its in PSYOP cat and then gets burnt or something like that. So I think Francis is the perfect person to try to really get something going like this, right?
Yeah.
His energy is really, top tier. And I think his and him being creative is also top tier. So I'm excited to learn what the negative supply shock would be, because if it's just airdrop and 20% in LP, I don't really see it. But he obviously has another plan. So
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna read through that tonight, and we'll come out with more details tomorrow. But I just thought it was really cool. I definitely want to add it in for today's show. But huge news! If you watched our Sunday edition of Bell's Corner that came out yesterday, you can see Adam. He wasn't really sure if he'll get listed on MEXC, or maybe he was just telling us that.
was he
but
not?
It's official. It's official. Well, he said it without saying it. It's official though. Bells will be listed on MEXC. Right now, the only exchange they were on was non-KYC, which is, it's a tough exchange to use. I think we both hate buying stuff there because it's
not that bad.
It's
I thought it was
peer to peer.
But you got to do that extra step. That's the
You got to
thing.
wait. Yeah.
But yeah.
But MEXC, they're gonna have liquidity there. So, and if you do, and I'm actually thinking about doing this, but if you deposit bells on MEXC, there's a $15,000 reward for the people that do that. So you'll earn a couple bucks in USDT for depositing bells on their exchange. So that way they can get more bells into circulation. So this is really cool. Congratulations to all bells holders. We're Ordinal Revolution, obviously, but we feel like bells and the bells ecosystem is a part of that. So we feel like that is going to be like a layer 2 on Bitcoin, the same as Fractal. And I'm very bullish on bells. And my man Yagobi was very bullish on bells as well. He's trying to whip up some USDT so we can get some more here.
Yeah, bells to me is going to be one of those that snuck in, right? Well, I guess you could say snuck in, because you have to remember, when Doge became popular, you made a great point that Robinhood helped assist that to retail, right?
Yeah.
And so that just like perpetuated this like snowball effect on Doge being the first meme coin to really catch on. And then now with this, it's like Bells has first of all that connection with Doge. The UTXO chain kind of narrative is like the ecosystem is happening this cycle, and I just feel like it's like perfectly like primed to be like this cycle's Doge. The Nintendo wallet makes me chuckle every time I think about the history of that. A lot of great things in my opinion, variables to make it a winner, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think MEXC is just the beginning. I think we can see other exchanges. I do eventually see, and this is kind of just an idea that keeps popping in my head. Is let's just say you're looking at the board at Robinhood, and they're sitting around the table and they're saying, "What is the next Doge?" They made billions of dollars on Doge. Robinhood made billions of dollars on Dogecoin. They got to be saying, "What's the next Doge?" And if you're sitting there and you're looking at something and looking at Bells, which is decentralized, which it's mining just the same way Doge was. It has everything that Doge had. And it has Bells, which is a playoff what they were doing at Nintendo. And it's just funny, right? And it'll be great if they sit there and they potentially add Bells this bull run, which is definitely possible. But this could definitely get listed on other changes as well. Potentially, OKX next. I think OKX is probably looking at this now, and many other ones.
Well, I think the really cool aspect of it is like, you know, you have Binance and you have like these other large entities that are mining it, like with the merge mining and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, with that, they don't necessarily need a, you know, some type of figurehead to be like, hey, we need, if you want to get listed, we need,
Yeah.
you know, $200,000 worth of Bells coin. They're actually mining them themselves. So it'll be, you know, depending on how many they mine, right? It'd be easy to get listed. I just feel like it's like one of those tokens that like it's there is no true like founder of the chain anymore,
Yeah.
right? Because Billy obviously created it, but like Adam McBride's doing an amazing job leading the community, but like he's not the creator of it, right? So it's something that's like decentralized in that aspect to where it'll naturally organically get listed on exchanges, and it'll just be like one of those fun tokens. But the good thing is the people that know the information on how to get it now from
Yeah.
us or other platforms, y'all are the lucky ones, because I think, you know, the public can't get it right now. They ain't gonna go to non KYC or anything right now. They're waiting for it to get to Robinhood or Coinbase.
100%. One last thing here before we get into Merlin Monday. Fluid tokens on Bitcoin, the big staking unlock. Every user who staked their ordinals will be able to collect their assets and rewards in the same transaction using Fluid. So this is huge. I'm going to be able to collect my Billy Cat and my $1 billion cat rune at the same time, so I don't got to pay double the fee. This is awesome. Fluid is really doing a really good job with this, man. Really excited for this. I'm unlocking tomorrow, dude. I got a lot of Billy Cats in there. I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. This is really big. It's like a milestone moment, right? Because I think this is the first time one of the staking vaults is actually going to go from start to finish, right? So a lot of people are going to be paying attention to this, and I think that, you know, this could also bring on more staking vaults because they're going to see the success of this, and you know how seamless it is. If this is a, you know, an easy process and all those things, and I'm excited too because I'm going to be able to unstake my Billy Cats as well. And we'll see what happens. You know, those guys at Fluid are doing big things. You know, everybody that watches the show knows that, you know, they're originally from Cardano, and they were over at a huge Cardano conference talking about Bitcoin though, and how the interoperability is going to work and stuff like that. So doing huge things.
Yeah, man. All right, guys, it's 12 o'clock on a Friday. You know what that means? It is officially Merlin Monday. Merlin Monday. It's what did I say?
On a Friday, but it's a
on
Monday.
a Friday.
So
I meant Monday. Yeah, it's definitely a Monday, but yeah, it's officially Monday. So it's Merlin Monday at 12 o'clock. So yeah. So what is Merlin? For anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, so Merlin is a scaling solution, right? A Bitcoin layer 2 that if you're a builder and want your protocol, if you're building on layer 1, you want your protocol to be more flexible, more scalable, then you can build there. They have amazing builder grants and programs and support, as we've witnessed firsthand, right? And so we're actually going to talk to Jake Gallen from Emblem Vault, because I believe they are, you know, working with Merlin Chain's team with that grant program and stuff like that, and talk a bit about what they're going to be able to provide there. But yeah, so you know, if you want to be able to trade layer 1 assets, you know, especially the more popular ones, you can do so in a fast, quick environment that's safe. You know, they've been safe up until this day, right? And so that's what they're going to provide. But they're also innovators, right? So they're the only Bitcoin layer 2 that have a lot of these assets that bridged over. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's coming that I'm excited about.
Yeah, 100%. You know, last 6 months, it really feels like Jeff's got his head down building, man. And we know he built this time last year, right? He built BRC 420. He was building Merlin. I'm just curious, really excited for what he's building next. So definitely get into that. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Jeff, welcome back to Ordinal Revolution.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on?
Yeah, being Monday. Monday is always, you know, like Merlin Monday is always hardest. Hard on me because, you know, everything, every company, Monday is like their busiest day. So basically, until now, it's like, you know, me having countless meetings, talks, and here we go, Merlin Monday again. Do you guys like remember like how many shows have we done on Merlin Mondays? Like it must be over 10, right?
Yeah,
more than that, I think.
Yeah. I think we've done over 10. And so, you know, for the audience, you guys are lucky because I don't think any other chain updates their community as much as like a weekly update. And so I know that puts a lot of pressure on you and some of these other builders, but I think it's good though to have these conversations, even if there isn't a ton of updates to talk about. It's more of like, you know, what's your sentiment? How are you feeling about the Bitcoin ecosystem and stuff? And you know, one of the great things about you is that you're you know, honest, very straightforward with that. And so yeah. So let's kick it off that way, I guess. Like, how are you feeling about like the Bitcoin ecosystem, and the Bitcoin layer 2 ecosystem?
Yes. So first, I just did a podcast with Persistence. I think, you know, they are a fairly huge podcast on the Ethereum side, I guess. So, you know, even today, you know, after, you know, more than, you know, 8 months after Merlin's launch, after all these Bitcoin layer 2's BTC5, you know, when you're having this kind of conversation with them, you still find out these guys are not very familiar with Bitcoin ecosystem. You know, they know for sure there's something going on the Bitcoin side. They know something about, they heard, you know, ruins are pretty popular. You know, ordinals is there. They heard there's some Bitcoin layer 2, so BTC5, but they're just not that familiar with. Like right now, if you talk with them, you know, about, I don't know, about Solana or about, you know, other like Uniswap chain, they have like lots of knowledge, but to Bitcoin is still like, I would say is below my expectation. So I think that's a factor we have to face, and that is something we have to change, right? Because we cannot just have an internal party, you know, with all these guys from last year. And to be honest, you know, all these guys from last year, I think more than half of them have already left. You know, the people we are talking on Twitter, the people we are talking here, lots of them have left. So if we are like losing people and more people are not coming in, that is not a good sign. So that is my feeling. Like, and also that's something, you know, Merlin is trying to do, you know, to get more people in. And yeah, and also about Bitcoin layer 2. So I think, you know, people had like that's the thing I said for like hundreds of times. You know, people always have too much expectation for the short period of time. You know, they see something, they will say, oh, this is gonna be huge, this is gonna change the ecosystems, and then 2 weeks after they say, oh, this is bullshit. And also people have just too little expectation, you know, too little hope for long-term thing, right? Because like people see runes, it is runes instead. People see ordinals, it is ordinals instead. That's what happened with Bitcoin layer 2s. You know, like 6 months ago, people were saying, "Oh, Merlin, like nobody knows, like what is that?" And they get like so many 3-4 billion TVL. So that must be easy. You know, that must be easy to get all these DFs coming there. You know, Merlin Swap, Avalon, Surf, Solve. It's gonna be easy to bring this, you know, to a new chain. And after 6 months, when you look at all of them, you find out, you know, some of them are just, you know, not doing anything anymore. Some of them are just like gradually becoming a, you know, a VC institution, you know, chain. You know, people know them, but people don't, you know, do activities on them. So I think, yeah, that's my feeling about Bitcoin layer 2s. People just don't talk about it anymore. And I mean, that is hard for us too, because, you know, we cannot drive this whole momentum by ourselves. I mean, we're trying, but yeah. So yeah, I must say, you know, it's like the hardest time. But you know, when you are experiencing this, probably, you know, it means, you know, something's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel like something's coming. But do you feel like, you know, there's not many people playing on Ethereum. There's not many people playing on any Ethereum L2 either. Do you think when Bitcoin's price action comes, do you think people naturally come back, or do you think we really have to really be showcasing what we're doing and building over here first?
Yeah, if we keep it like today, as of today, I think no people will come. You know, people came last year because, you know, Binance listed already in sets, and tons of people are making millions of dollars. You know, like all these stories brought those newcomers to Bitcoin ecosystems. But yeah, so that's why I say, you know, we need to change things. We need to bring, you know, good examples. We need to bring innovations to encourage people to come in. If we stay the same, I think, you know, even Bitcoin goes to 200K, I mean, it doesn't change anything for us.
Yeah. Well, and I think especially like the scaling solutions too, right? Because it's like I talked earlier with Shizzy before the segment started about how, you know, the layer 1 assets, they can be positively affected because everything's denominated with Bitcoin's on-chain economy in Bitcoin. So if it goes from like 68,000 to 250,000, 0.12 node monkey is a big deal difference in fiat, right? But that could stop quick, right? So I agree with you. I think that like having the actual like use cases and scaling solutions, because eventually those are going to be heavily needed once, you know, the mempool is going to be clogged and stuff. And for the audience that doesn't know, like your background, you know, at a very young age, you established a successful e-commerce company, sold that, did a second one, sold that. And then, so you've had this entrepreneurship in your like history. And so you've been kind of just, you know, in the lab, if you will, to try to figure out how can we onboard more users to the Bitcoin ecosystem. Can you talk a little bit about that process and where you guys are with that?
Yes, that's why, you know, from like 3 months ago, we started looking at, you know, Telegram. I think we have talked like a lot about that, but you know, like I don't get tired of talking that because people still don't see the potential behind that. You know, I think the biggest narrative for crypto is always, you know, massive adoption. 4 years ago, we think about, you know, onboard 1 billion users to crypto, and you know, in the end, we failed, right? We failed with I would say 10, 20 million users, probably millions of active users. But this time, people just don't talk about that anymore. You know, people talk about memes. I think it's great, you know, people talk about memes, but you know, we need something to push the whole industry forward. That's why, you know, when I see product like Moonshot, I don't know if you guys have tried that. You know, when you see product like Moonshot, when you see product like Polymarket, when you see stuff even like Pump Fund, right? And you see potential behind that because these kind of products actually bring young users, you know, new users who just graduated from college, who are trying to make a living on, you know, internet. They don't want to go to corporate to work, you know, 24/7, you know, 7 days a week. I think, you know, that is something we should, you know, be considering. And when you look at numbers, you know, when people look at numbers of all these Telegram DApps, they have like 200 million users, 100 million users, and people think they're bots. I'll be honest with you, you know, lots of them are bots, but also, you know, lots of them, millions of them are active users. When you see the, you know, the percentage of users who actually pay fiat money to be on chain, I think right now is about 1%. But what if that percentage go up to, you know, like 10%? You know, you will have over 10 million users, you know, to pay fiat money to be on chain. That would be 10 times bigger than the whole Bitcoin ecosystems. And these guys are not, you know, like, I would say these guys are not poor people, you know, from I don't know, third world countries. These guys can be active. You know, like last time when we have Axie, you know, GameFi, Metaverse, Magic, it's because Southeast Asia people, you know, they're playing this game. Chinese people are playing this game, and we see, you know, the booming of, you know, all these GameFis and also NFT. You know, lots of people from Hong Kong, from China, they're buying, you know, BLIC, they're buying crypto pumps. So and these people are new. You know, these people, like most of them like haven't heard of Bitcoin or Ethereum or like used Bitcoin or Ethereum before. So I think that is the opportunity we have to take. You know, we have to onboard all these people. And to be honest, you know, it's hard to use Bitcoin or to use Merlin. You know, the users of Merlin, some of them never used Bitcoin Layer 1 before. They hate it. And the people from Bitcoin Layer 1, they never used Merlin before. They have so many questions. You know, I still get questions about, you know, how to bridge. Like today I got a question from our own investor. You know, he had, you know, one Bitcoin Merlin. He asked, you know, how can I bridge this Bitcoin like back? Can I still bridge back? I say, yeah, of course you can. Of course you can bridge back. Like so I like take your Bitcoin, you know, like spend with like myself, you know, to buy a car. Like, of course you can like bridge back. So, you know, there's like a huge gap between all these users. So like that's why, you know, with the first mini app, you know, we think of is, you know, is the trading bot. So you just basically use a bot on Telegram. You tell him to do, you know, to farm, to lend, you know, to do perps, to buy Merl, to sell Merl, to buy BMAP token, to do all of this, and you don't have to, you know, think about, you know, the wallet or anything. So I think, you know, we have to build all these infras and tools for users to have low entry barrier, you know, to make it easier. Like that's why we use Merl as gas fee as well, because, you know, it's going to be much more efficient and easy, you know, to just buy Merl from central exchange, you know, send this to your wallet. It takes like 1 minute, 2 minutes. it's going to be much easier to ask a user to have Unisat, to have Bitcoin wallets, to get this Bitcoin from central exchange and then bridging to Merlin. Takes about 2 hours. So everything we are trying to do is to lower the barrier, to make people easier to use all these on-chain products. And then it comes to how innovative that is. I mean, I share some apps with you guys yesterday. I think like lots of them are very innovative, but we need to get users to try this out and not just put them on slideshows.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking, Shizzy and I, about like how the adoption is probably going to work, because when I go to get a new pair of basketball shoes, I go to the store or online, and I enter my payment information very simply, or I get them my card I just tap my card. I don't know what happens after that, right? And I think that's the user that the crypto industry is missing. And if Bitcoin can lead the way through Merlin, I think that could be huge. Back end, it's almost kind of like Merlin Chain is the back end processor of like these payment rails, right? And which eventually will affect positively Bitcoin, in the overall scheme of things. So I'm super excited for that. I can't wait. I know that you're holding on to some of the information because it's still being developed on these mini apps. We know a little bit about them, and the little bit that we got, we're super excited. We think this is going to be amazing.
Yes, and I'm super excited too. Like when I check all these, new apps, new functions, like I always ask myself, like can like 8-year-old, 9-year-old, play with it? It's gonna be easy for everyone. And I'm just so excited, bro. It's so easy to use. It's so like it looks like something like a young college kid would sell that to his friends. It's not like something on deck screener, trading view, so hard to use, looks like Wall Street. Like I hate those products. So yeah. So I make sure they look like Snapchat, Tinder, or like TikTok. It's gonna be much easier.
That's awesome.
Telegram front end, Merlin background. I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. It sounds awesome.
Yep. And he's saying easy as an 8-year-old or 9-year-old to use, not actually 8-year-old or 9-year-old using it. He's just saying he wants it to be that easy. So I'm super excited. But Jeff, are you able to hang with us, or do you have a meeting you have to jump to?
So one thing is next Monday, I think we need to reschedule. Like I don't want to cancel it, because like next Monday I just checked my calendar. I'm on the flight, from Dubai to Singapore. So like the exact time. So I'll be on the flight, but we can do Morning Tuesday and or whatever you guys think best. And today,
go ahead.
Yeah, and today I can hang here for like 50 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll definitely figure it out for next week, but I'm gonna keep you up here, and we're gonna bring our first guest. But you guys most likely will know who he is. Really familiar face in the space. He was on our show before we were Ordinal Revolution. I didn't realize it was before we rebranded, but man, amazing person and CEO now of Emblem Vault. So let's welcome up Jake Gallen, the CEO of Emblem Vault. How you doing, Jake?
What's good, guys, dude? It's been quite a long time since we've had this conversation. I was trying to think the other day, what was the name of your show? I couldn't remember. Before it was Ordinal Revolution.
It was DeFi Discussions.
Yes. Good times.
So long ago, man.
Yep.
That was June. It had to be June of 2023. Wow.
We've both come a long way since then.
100%. I remember because like Shizzy had this amazing like intro that was so intense, and it had like, and I remember seeing you down below like smiling, be like, wow, man, this is super intense. And we came in, but that was awesome. Definitely, both of us have just grown like as companies and individually, all three of us. But super excited. First, I want to congratulate you for taking on, the CEO role for Emblem Vault. That is huge. And, we've gotten the chance to get to know Adam McBride as well. And amazing. It seems like amazing partner that you had and still have. But how's that been for you, kind of transitioning into that new CEO role?
Well, I mean, I've been in this space for now 8 years, and I've been doing it full time since the pandemic started. So little over 4 years full time. And when Adam and I both joined the team November 2022, I think within maybe 6 months or 8 months, like it was already playing out that way, that eventually I'd be promoted to that role. But coming from a non-dev background, it took a little while to understand, how the mechanics of a lot of this technology works. Fortunately for us, our founder Shannon is probably the most creative and one of the best developers in the industry. He's been building on Bitcoin since 2013. He was a developer at Mastercoin, which was the second ever kind of meta protocol on Bitcoin. So he has a lot of experience, and mirroring him, and then our other friend Swapna, who worked at Coinbase, that was with us for a little while. They both, really taught me how a lot of this stuff works. And over the summer, then it was time to promote myself to CEO and start scaling this company. And I have to say, what people see on with operating a company from the business side, I'm sure Jeff relates to this as well, completely different from what you see on the timeline itself. It feels like the Twitter space is a lot more combative to one another, but on the business side, a lot of people generally try to work together as much as possible. So two very stark contrasts.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Twitter is definitely like out there for everybody to see whenever somebody is trying to stir the pot a bit, I guess you could say. But let's get into Emblem Vault. And, obviously you guys are joining the grant program with Merlin Chain. But for the audience that doesn't know what Emblem Vault is, if you could just do a brief summary on what you guys are as a company and what you provide.
Yeah, the short version of it is that it's an NFT bridge, but you could say it's the first ever NFT bridge. It was created and deployed to ETH mainnet in August or September of 2020. Originally, Emblem Vault was on Counterparty. It was originally on Bitcoin, and our founder, Shannon, decided to leave Bitcoin around 2019 when it became very apparent that the Bitcoin community was very aggressive towards developers. And pretty quickly, the Counterparty community began to utilize Emblem Vault as a way to trade rare Pepe's, Spells of Genesis assets, etc., on Ethereum during the 2021 bull run, which accounted to this day, I think we have about 160 million in trading volume, with maybe like 80 to 90% of that being Bitcoin NFT volume. And so it started with Counterparty. Then if you remember with Ordinals, the same thing happened as well. About a week or two into Ordinals catching attention, everyone started using Emblem Vault to trade Bitcoin punks and etc. on OpenSea. Then the same exact thing happened again with Bitcoin stamps. Same thing happened again with Litecoin Ordinals. And then it happened again with ETH subscriptions. And for us, during the summer of last year, around July of 2023, we decided, hey, if we want Emblem Vault to be, the successful interoperability protocol, we're going to have to basically pause everything and basically rebuild it from the ground up. And that's what we've been doing for the last year and a half. And I would say in December, we have a lot of plans to begin what we're calling the expansion program, which is now taking Emblem Vault to all these different chains, so that we can allow this kind of interoperability ecosystem. And what we've learned with Emblem Vault, just kind of final point here, is that a lot of our competitors that you could say, things like Layer 0 or Wormhole, these are what you call virtual machine cross-chain messaging systems, right? So their kind of limitations are VMs. They're either EVM compliant or SVM compliant. Where Emblem Vault, we created this thing called vaulting, where basically the technology is a tokenized wallet. So our crossroads or limitations is really, if a network has a wallet and it has a token system, then we could plug into it. So Emblem Vault actually becomes a lot more usable for UTXO-based NFTs, whereas some of these other, companies that have $200-300 million in funding, they don't have an ability to interact with that. And that's where we found a lot of our users is across different UTXOs with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bells Coin, and then all of the kind of native digital assets on top of it.
Yeah.
It's huge. I remember in August, somebody took an alien node monkey, used your service, and then took a monster loan over on Ethereum. So that's one of the big things that you guys are kind of like looked at for. Is there any news on that? Did he ever take it back? Do you know?
I believe it's still there. So we have a pretty close relationship with Arcade. They're big Rare Pepe fans. And every once in a while, they'll approach us and be like, hey, we have this client on Bitcoin who wants to borrow against this node monkey, or they want to borrow against this Rare Pepe or this whatever XYZ asset. and we kind of have to like handhold them through the process to do it. And yeah, it still continues. And the reason why why people do that is just it's a much larger liquidity profile on Ethereum. And I'm sure this is why, you know, Jeff decided to build on EVM as well, is there's just so much more tooling. And when you kind of move out of this like idea of tribalism, and you can realize that, hey, if you can access cross-chain liquidity, like the pool and opportunity there is much larger than, you know, just sitting on one chain. Although some people will not like to say that out loud.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you mentioned like kind of servicing like these UTXO chains, but you have the experience of bridging over to EVM, Ethereum, for the example that Shizzy gave. So how did you work, you know, your way as Emblem Vault, kind of coming into this grant program with Merlin, and where do you see kind of the puzzles fitting together with Emblem Vault and Merlin Chain?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Emblem, we've been really building out the last, I would say probably the last 8 or 9 months, we've been really constructing, hey, once this like migration is built, once we've upgraded to Emblem 2.0, you know, what comes next for this technology? And so I'll just kind of add like a little bit of a caveat here, because then it all makes sense. What Emblem does really good in what we call Emblem 1.0 or the first version is it helps immature ecosystems access liquidity. So I'll use Bitcoin ordinals for an example. When Casey created ordinals, the first things that were created were digital assets, right? The ordinals were created. But at that time, after the assets were created, people were trading on spreadsheets because there was no wallet to trade these things in. There was no marketplace. And so what Emblem does is it comes in and provides 2 of those things, because it's a wallet that's attached to an NFT. So users could store their ordinals in Emblem Vault, literally as a wallet storage, and then they could go trade them on OpenSea for liquidity. Kind of what we're seeing now is a lot of these native ecosystems are starting to grow and flourish, where essentially you could say like, you don't need Emblem Vault at this point, right? There, Ordinals has wallets, has marketplaces, liquidity, etc. So you think about it, then you're like, well, then what's the next phase of Emblem Vault? And it's to provide advanced tooling for a lot of these ecosystems. And as we decided, you know, what does that kind of expansion campaign look like? And you know, what are these different types of ecosystems and what do they need? We've come to learn that every blockchain, whether it's a layer 1, an L2, or a dApp, they all have different types of cultures and they all have different types of needs. And so this is why Adam and I host our show 3 times a week, because you have to get into the trenches with these communities and cultures to understand, you know, what they're looking for. And for Merlin specifically, right, Jeff took a risk by building on EVM, right? That actually hurts a little bit of the credibility from the quote unquote Bitcoin maxis, because they're like, right, this is a multi-sig. I'm sure you guys talked about all the FUD that they've gone through up until this point. But when you kind of look at it, you're like, okay, well, what is Jeff trying to do? And he's just trying to access the, you know, advanced tooling of, you know, the EVM network and apply it to Bitcoin native assets, which is essentially what Emblem Vault's been doing this whole time, using EVM to interact with Bitcoin NFTs. And so we saw that Jeff had put out the grant program. And so we applied. And from the Emblem standpoint, I've been applying to all these different grant programs, not necessarily because of the grant or the money that you'll get, which you do, but it's more of the co-marketing opportunity, because it puts you in more of a direct line of communication with all of the application developers and the founding team to figure out what are you actually looking for. And for Emblem, and for a lot of these L2s, just to be honest, the primary thing they want is just an increase in TVL. And Emblem has over 100 million of that, mostly through counterparty assets. And after we got accepted into the grant program, you know, we approached Unicross, which we had a conversation with. We talked with like Ben Dow, talked with a handful of different kind of community leaders to see, you know, what's like kind of going to be forming over here. And with Unicross specifically, I like this, like they're doing like advanced DeFi kind of like ideas, right? Where they're like kind of they're turning NFTs like Bitmap into fungible tokens, and right, trading and swapping and Merlin swapping, etc. So we've had some conversations with Unicross about, you know, doing the same thing with you could do it with any type of NFT, right? You could do it with Counterparty, you could do it with Tap, you could do it with XYZ kind of ideas. But it's really about getting into the trenches and really trying to understand, you know, what specifically the developers want, what specifically the community wants, and the traders want. And it's not always clear. And sometimes it takes a lot of, testing and throwing out product ideas that maybe don't land to see, where it goes. But when I look at Merlin, just, from like a wider view, it has a bitmap community, right? It's pretty large, has like 25% of the bitmap on there. It has a heavily kind of like East dominated community or influence. And when that comes, it's just a bunch of traders and a bunch of speculators. And so if you can, my kind of idea would be importing as many, assets as they want, going after which cross-chain Bitcoin NFTs they do want to access, and probably trying to implement that in some sort of like DeFi or NFT ecosystem is probably where I see that going.
Gotcha. So basically, utilizing your capabilities, technology to kind of be another option for onboarding assets, Bitcoin assets, or even other ecosystem assets, not necessarily has to be Bitcoin, right? Into the Merlin Chain ecosystem is what I'm getting from that.
Yeah. You could do ordinals, you could do stamps, you could do counterparty, you could do Litecoin ordinals, Dogecoin ordinals, Bell's coin, right? Bellonos. I know you guys have this show with Adam. Or you could just do, Ethereum or SVM, right? Or we could do Fractal as well. Stacks, we have support for stacks already. And I do suspect this is what a lot of this like L2 ecosystem is going to start batting or competing for, is Bitcoin NFTs. Right now, it's mostly for Bitcoin, the asset, but you don't really see many of them going after the NFT space. And this is kind of what Emblem has been doing, where our competitors are mostly focused on cross-chain fungible tokens, where we've been pretty much dominating the cross-chain NFT space by like a large margin. And, for Merlin, they've been focusing a lot on, NFTs, like Bitcoin NFTs, whereas a lot of these other ones are just more focused on fungible tokens. So it's a smaller market per se, but what I've learned with Emblem is that once you get an asset vaulted, about 9 of 10 assets that are vaulted stay in vaults. They're never unlocked. So it's basically kind of like a black hole where once they come in, then they never actually have to leave. And we're going to implement a feature here with Emblem 2.0, which is what we call our jump feature. Whereas like if I have a rare Pepe on Ethereum using Emblem Vault, I could jump it in one transaction to Merlin and there's no wait time, right? Or I could jump it to Solana or move it to Blast on Base, and it's all one simple transaction. And we're trying to make that as frictionless as possible, because then we could go to Merlin and say, hey, look, we have 100 million in Bitcoin NFTs on Ethereum. Let's co-market, an incentive program, or it could be to one of the applications on Merlin. Let's co-market an incentive program, and all these users have the ability to jump over in literally like 3 or 4 seconds.
That's
awesome. This is going to be huge for the future as well, because right now, you do have Merlin as perp contracts on Kraken and potentially a spot listing. And what that does, that makes American companies start looking at that, right? And eventually you're going to see stuff like Blast kind of maybe pick up Merlin, because that's really just a switch of a button, right? Because EVM's EVM, they're on base, they can easily be on Merlin. And then you see things like Aave and these other DeFi applications just flipping on that switch for Merlin. And what that's going to do, that's going to bring liquidity to Merlin, which allows someone like me, maybe I take a node monkey, put it in your vault, send it over to Merlin, and then take a loan against it using a larger amounts of liquidity from all the chains, because it's EVM. So it really opens up the door, not for just like, really just getting into vaulting, but actually taking loans against these assets I don't want to sell.
You can take loans. Staking is a big thing. That's how you guys talking about with fluid tokens as well. I also staked some runestone, so I'm excited to claim those as well. Fluid token guys are really smart. So a little bit more kind of what we're doing with Emblem 2.0. So again, Shan's a really brilliant guy. And with Emblem 2.0, first we're going to have what's called non-custodial vaults, where Emblem actually has no participation in the key management. With Emblem 1.0, essentially how it works is you take an asset and you send it into a wallet inside of a vault. And then when you mint it, the private key to that wallet, that Bitcoin wallet that's inside of the vault, is encrypted and sharded and stored on a TSS network on Ethereum, With Emblem 2.0, we're moving over to something called LIP protocol, where Emblem actually has no participation in that. So the assets that are inside the vault, Emblem has no access to. On top of that, this also allows us to bring the idea of what we call smart vaults, where we can store smart wallets inside of a vault. And so with this, you can actually have some very advanced DeFi type applications, because you're basically putting a smart contract inside of an NFT is essentially what you're doing here. And so with that, it really unlocks a lot of very advanced DeFi applications, which I think are actually going to be very beneficial to the UTXO space more than anything else. And what are those type of ideas, or what are those use cases? I think it still has to be largely explored, but we've started talking with Unicross about some of these ideas, because this seems to be, I would say, the most like NFT fi forward application that I've seen on Merlin yet. But sometimes all it takes is just one or two use cases, and then everyone else kind of hops on board.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Man, all this is so interesting to me, because I'm learning more about what your involvement is going to be here. But we do have a couple more builders we got to get to, so I want to give you a chance to kind of wrap up and I guess give a statement to the audience on maybe what to expect in terms of Emblem Vault coming to Merlin, maybe timelines and stuff like that.
I would say probably in the next maybe December or January is the idea. So with Merlin, when you're, this is just for anybody who's trying to apply, when you go through any grant program on any chain, you have to go through a handful of like audits and things like that. And currently our contract is being audited by Halborn, which is a tier 1 audit firm. So we're just waiting for that to go through. And then we'll have to do whatever updates that they come back with. And then Emblem ourselves, we're going to be starting our campaign, or expansion campaign here shortly. We have a town hall this Thursday, and we do it at the end of every Thursday, which will have some very major announcements. And then Merlin is like one of the first 2 or 3 chains that we'll be deploying on. It's going to be, excuse me, really, really exciting. And I'm honored to work with Merlin, because I think Jeff and the builders have shown that they're not afraid of going against the grain, especially if it's, their own community, because they think that this is the right, development decision. I think that they've, showed a lot of leadership to it, and yeah, just stoked to work with them.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome, Jake. Well, Shizzy, did you have any last questions or anything?
No, I just definitely want to get you back on for a full show. If you wouldn't mind, we can definitely jump on a call and kind of schedule that and everything else. So definitely appreciate you joining us for Merlin Monday. It was definitely a nice builder, because we've had the same builders, which we love, but it's really nice to get a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah, dude, I would be honored to come back on. Appreciate you guys for the time. And yeah, anybody who's listening, just feel free to reach out to me any questions. I'm perpetually on Twitter.
Awesome. All right, Jake. Well, it was amazing as always, and we will talk soon, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
See you, bud. Well, that was amazing, man. It was really cool to talk to Jake, and can't wait to do a full episode. I definitely want to dig into more how Emblem Vault works, everything. I know we had it a while ago, but it'd be a nice refresher.
100%. And the ecosystem kind of extension program that they're doing or initiative is going to be huge, I think, for the Bitcoin ecosystem. This is just one part of it, right? So we can definitely get them on for a full-blown episode to see what their plans are, because at the end of the day, I think he made a great point about, what the optics look like on Twitter are not what a lot of times are happening behind the scenes, behind closed doors between builders. There's a lot more collaboration happening. So, but
100%.
All right, guys, we got a couple more builders to get to. Next builder up is Miner Club. We're going to talk about them and some updates that they have. They, last time we had them up, they talked about their transition to, I think it's R2 Miner. It's a new kind of synthetic stakeable type of token, fungible token that's you don't have to stake it. It actually automatically earns for you. But let's bring up Jem from Miner Club. How are you doing, Jem?
Good, Yagobi. Hello again. Hey, Shizzy.
What's up, buddy?
And coming up right after Jake. That's he raises the bar. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
But we're excited to learn more about Miner Club. You guys have been building for a while in this space. You guys have pivoted a little bit here and there, but not any major pivots. It's more of like trying to make the system of staking or earning more efficient. So if you wouldn't mind, just update the community on your latest developments and how that's going.
I mean, our thesis stays the same. It's really democratizing access to sustainable sources of yield. Right now, it's mainly backed by RWA that's based on BTC mining. And, a big part of what we do is showing appreciation for our community. It's very important for us. So, which is why by working with Jeff from Merlin, we were able to recently airdrop 40,000 MER tokens to all of the Blue Mineral participants in the Merlin Seal event. And as you already know, in addition, based on feedback from the community, the team has been using our team token allocation as it unlocks to buy back Blue Mineral at the market price. We just did the first batch this month, and we have 11 more buybacks planned. So then Blue Mineral will be highly deflationary, which means existing stakers will receive a bigger proportion of yield over time. And Merlin Chain has been very gracious, and they also gave us 30 million Satoshi, which is a fancy way of saying 0.3 BTC as a rebate. So we are planning to distribute all of it to our users. The actual official distribution method and details hasn't been announced, which will be announced this week. So again, you guys heard it here first. Not going to go into too much details here, but again, we're going to stick with our thesis of rewarding our existing users. And community engagement and rewarding and incentivizing our users to just participate is pretty important. So we have implemented things like an automatic questing system on Discord, where our community can receive things like nitros and exclusive roles, which will all be used as prerequisites for future rewards down the road. And we recently implemented a weekly community content event where anyone can submit any Miner Club related content, whether it's a video, meme, photo, video, etc. The team will pick one content, give that person 10 miners, share their work on our official social with full credit, as well as a exclusive Discord role. And this is going to happen every week. Again, this goes back to what I keep saying. We want to reward our existing community, and we have the right tools in place to do so.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We actually have a few partnerships in place as well. I might have mentioned it a bit last time. So we're still in the internal testing phase, where really at the end of the day, it will allow our users, holders of our assets, to do more, mainly restaking. So it's in the final testing phase. We are also developing a TG mini app, so we can further grow our ecosystem and community by onboarding non-Web3 natives or Web3 newbies from the TG ecosystem. There we will further abstract some of the complexity of mineral R miner and R2 miner so that people can participate directly with up to just 3 clicks and essentially receive BTC yield. I mean, right now it's already pretty straightforward. Once you wrap your head around how, okay, you hold R2 miner in your wallet, you get more R2 miner. But don't worry, that there's always value for that, because the BTC from our RWAs are putting all of the BTC into the pool, so you can sell that for BTC at any time.
I really love what you guys are doing, like trying to just, think outside the box with a lot of these ideas. But I was wondering, the blue mineral price did jump up some, and I want to go back to kind of the repurchasing, and you said you have 11 more events for that. What happens to these blue miners that you guys repurchase? Are they being burned forever, or are they just being held for a certain amount of time? Could you go into detail about that?
It's burnt. It's gone forever, which is why I mentioned blue mineral will be a lot more deflationary, since all these buybacks, these blue minerals are gone forever.
I love that.
How much of the supply do you think you guys are going to be burning? Is it like 1%, 2%, like through the 11 burns?
Let me just quickly go back to the announcement that we made, because I think there was a chart there, because I do remember so the team, their first batch of token there's a 6-month cliff, and then there's a 12-month vesting. So every month we get a 12th, 1 out of 12 unlock. The first batch, 50% of the team token goes towards the pool for buying back blue mineral. The second month is 30% of the team token for miner. And then after that is 20% for each month. So the amount that gets bought back, it really depends on the moving price of miner at the time, as well as blue mineral. So obviously, if the higher that the miner price goes, it can buy back more. But at the same time, if it drives up blue mineral, it will somewhat equalize as well.
Gotcha.
Amazing.
Did you guys post an address to kind of for the community to keep track of how many miners are being sent to that burnt address? I think that would be really cool. You know, because it's already whatever this you guys are doing right now. It's already gotten the excitement back in me, at least. I don't know about the audience. I imagine probably so as well. You know, to kind of revive, you know, the blue minerals. And what I'm seeing is it's starting to work. You know, even after the first purchase. So is that something you guys can post, you know, publicly, or?
I think that's an excellent idea. So that is something that I'm going to bring up in our next team meeting, and more likely than not, just get it implemented. That's an excellent idea. Something that we probably should have thought of, but this is why we're having this conversation. That's great. I mean, at the same time, feedback from you guys or from, any feedback that you guys get, because we have 11 more buybacks, any adjustments that can be made. I mean, if you guys get any ideas, I mean, it doesn't have to be now, but you can just shoot us a message. We're always open to ways that we can improve all of this process.
Sounds great.
Yep. One last question I have for you is the merge mining aspect for the reward. So with the merge mining, you guys are mining Bitcoin and FB. Is that still happening? And how is that percentage split between both of those rewards?
So right now we're still doing dual mining, BTC and FB, and as usual, you're also getting R miner. For FB, we are not doing it. When we say dual mining, this full allocation is still BTC. So we don't compromise the amount of BTC that gets mined, but you get a bit of a bonus on FB mining. So
Gotcha.
I need to double check the numbers, but last I checked, back when FB was high, that increased. I mean, when FB was doing really well, I think a bit over a month ago when we first started, and that increased the overall yield by roughly 28%. That number definitely has gone down. But with FB, we don't distribute the FB. You can see the amount of FB that you have earned on your dashboard, but it's not practical for you to claim the FB because it won't be cost efficient in terms of gas. So what we do is, as a pool, we change it to BTC and then distribute it as BTC to the overall yield that you claim.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah. I like that. I like that aspect because now I can just kind of go and see my my Bitcoin rewards, right? And that's automatic, right? They'll show up as Bitcoin rewards and I can claim them from there.
Yes, and just don't forget to claim your R miner reward as well. And when you do get your R miner reward, be sure to convert it to R2 miner, because that's when, unless you plan to sell it. If you want to sell it, keep it as R miner and then you can sell it for BTC. But if you want to receive yield, it has to you have to convert it to R2 miner. And right now we started an event probably a week and a bit ago where there was a 0.3% conversion fee, but we're waiving that for now when you convert from R miner to R2 miner. So unless you're planning on selling, I do recommend you hold on to R2 miner because that way you receive yield.
Yeah. Yep. I've done it myself. It's really simple. Shizzy and I, maybe we can create like a quick tutorial for that just to let the audience and community know. But Jem, it's been an amazing time having you back and really giving any updates. Anything else you would like to tell to the community before we let you go?
I know you guys are pretty busy, but let me just quickly share. Is it okay if I share screen just to share?
Yeah, absolutely.
Show you this. It's going to look a bit crazy at first. Can you guys see it? Right
Is it safe for work? I'm just kidding.
Okay, so it looks a bit crazy, but the whole point of this is just me trying to show you guys, hey, the yield for miner, and just the yield in general for when it comes to anything rooted in BTC mining is great. And the whole point of this is to demonstrate that I'm not just pulling numbers out of my ass. So if you can look at the yellow highlighted number, this is based on the BTC price now, which is around 68,700. Then the yield is roughly 46%. Okay, and this is real yield, like, because it's as long as you believe in BTC and it doesn't drop exponentially, this is the kind of yield that you can expect from a miner. Mineral has the mineral yield we can see on the dashboard. You can see that directly. It's around 40-something% as well. But the beauty of our miner is, as you can see, there's two numbers. There's 46% and there's 876%. What's really interesting about our miner is that there's a bit of a game theory going on where, for example, the 46 is almost a minimum yield, where we assume if everyone sells their yield every day, this is the kind of yield that you expect, 46%. But obviously, if you're a long-term investor and you decide to, if everyone decides to hold on to the yield and not sell, and then the BTC mining revenue just keeps buying our miner, then we're looking at a yield of closer to 870%. So obviously the real number is going to be somewhere in between, because some people are going to be like, ultra diamond hands, and there's some people who will sell their yield, which is fine. But there is a pretty big range in terms of the amount of return that you can expect, which is why I always kind of recommend people, hey, convert your R. If you have R miner, convert it to R2 miner. Whatever R miner yield you get from mineral, convert it to R2 miner, because the return is pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it for sure. And I appreciate you sharing that. We don't typically have people share the actual breakdown in that depth.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm excited for, the future. I am a blue mineral holder. I definitely, have more excitement about, the value of that asset, going up. That's how I feel. That's not financial advice, but I've already seen that after that first buyback, that it'll pop up. So I'm excited to see the next ones, and then also kind of how this new mechanism works and how it can increase the overall, health of the ecosystem. At the end of the day, it's the health of your ecosystem. If it's healthy, then price can climb up at a good pace. Jumping up so quickly isn't necessarily the most healthy thing. So, bull market's coming up. I think you guys are doing the right things to get things in place. But Shizzy, any last words from you?
No, man, it's just crazy. Like, a couple months ago, I kind of like written MNER Club off a little bit, just because of the fact that I didn't really understand what you guys were heads down building, and it really seems like every idea that you guys have come forward with so far has been really beneficial to the holders. Like Yagobi said, like, I'm also a holder of these. I definitely believe in what you guys are building now, and looking forward to what comes next, because I feel like this is just the beginning for you guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the recognition. And we really do try to walk the talk.
Awesome. All right, Jim. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to the next time that you join Merlin Mondays.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me. Have a good one.
You too. Talk
Bye
soon.
now.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. I truly meant that. Like, I think me and you had a personal conversation where I was like, man, I don't think about these things anymore. I mean, I think I kind of wrote them off as zero. I still have, a bunch of them, and but they're still staking. I'm still earning, right? But at the same time, I was just like down on it. But now, I feel like this can be something that definitely resurrects like a phoenix, man, and it kind of really takes off. And do I think they get back to that $2,000, $3,000 mark? I don't know. It really depends on how many they burn. I mean, if there's only like 15,000, 11,000 left in the system, and I'm earning a lot of Bitcoin, potentially these things could go back to those numbers, if not higher.
Especially if Bitcoin's at like, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000.
Exactly. Yep.
But the biggest thing about like Jeff and Merlin and this whole ecosystem is, Jake made some good points. And that's one thing I love about Jake is like, he kind of tells it how it is. He was like, they went through this FUD and all this stuff, but like, the builders could have easily just been like, you know what, I'm not going to build, but that's not what happened, right? Like Jeff heads down, kept building. You got Mr. J heads down, building Unicross. You got, and even the ones that you might have thought were like you written off, like Miner, right? Miner Club, like they were heads down building. You saw that spreadsheet; it was very intricate in terms of like and they are a mining company, by the way, before they decided to go into this, so they have that experience on that side. So, you know, take this all with a grain of salt, guys. This is education, you know, from Merlin Mondays. That we're not saying that these blue minerals are going to jump up crazy or anything like that. This is more of educating you guys and letting you know that they are still building, and do what you will with that information. Do your own research always. That is the one advice that we can give, is do your own research. No matter if you're getting research from us or anything, take the research from us, do further research. But yeah, it's been a great Merlin Mondays. We got 462 people in here watching live. But we saved our best guy for last, man. And I hope Jeff's not listening, because no, I'm just kidding. No, but Mr. J, let's bring him up from Unicross. I have some questions about that possible collaboration with Emblem Vault as well. Let's bring up Mr. J. How are you doing, sir?
What's up,
Yo, what's up, everyone? I was just listening to all the builders here, and I was like dumbstruck because, especially with miner, you know, you really can't. Shizzy, you know, why are you like, you know, fading builders?
Well, I wasn't fading them. I just kind of wrote off my miners as an L, right? I was like, oh, you know what? Like, which is kind of a good thing, because I didn't sell them, right? So I still have them. So in the end, so I do that from time to time. I get bullish and bearish on projects, and the FOMO rushes in. But with them, there was no FOMO to buy them at $11, and I wish there was, because they doubled since that point. But
no, but seriously, like, a lot of times, you know, when you look at projects, you probably think like, oh, they've been quiet for a bit, you know, what are they doing? And then you kind of like think back, you know, who are these guys? Are these guys who just like popped up recently, or are these guys like building for a long time already? And, you know, more often than not, builders who have been in the trenches together, who have been building with the community, those guys are not going to be like, you know, coming up one day and saying like, okay, that's it, you know. Most likely it's going to be like people who are building hits down. I can't say this for everyone, but, you know, for the builders that I'm in contact with on Merlin, you know, maybe sometimes there's like a periods of time where we're really just focusing hard on what we're doing, and don't have a lot of time to go and like connect with the community on what's going on, or we could be building silently and, you know, just checking out, you know, who's actually having that conviction, you know, who's actually following up. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, dude, I'm excited to be here as always, not just as a guest, but also as a listener, to hear the developments that everyone has been going through. Yeah, and for us, you know, I do have a little bit to share today on some progress that we're making on our Telegram app.
Nice.
You know, I really agree with what Jeff said. Like, you can't really discount all these, you know, this power of Telegram apps. When you're talking about like, onboarding the masses, what's the easiest way? You know, what's the thing that is the lowest barrier of entry? And we feel like, you know, Telegram has been doing it really, really well. And although there is a huge number of bots, or a huge number of like people who can't really have that buying power right now, but that doesn't mean that these people are not going to evolve, or a different class of users are not going to come in. You can see like with Bitcoin pumping and Doge been mentioned yesterday, so people are going to be curious, like, you know, what's crypto? And when you think about what is crypto, the first thing that comes into mind is Bitcoin. And then where am I supposed to have like these communities to gather and to talk about these things? It's either X or Telegram. Discord is great, but, you know, it's a bit of a learning curve and pretty daunting at first. I myself did start using Telegram during my crypto journey, and it's been like such a, I would say, refreshing phase to just go back into Telegram after like being on Discord for so long. There's been so much advancements. in terms of what we want to do as Unicross, and we want to really onboard the next few million, hopefully 5 million people into the Bitcoin ecosystem. And how we're doing this is to let people learn how to use what mining is, let people learn in a very entertaining and engaging way, not something that is very hard, just bite-sized information, allowing these people who are learning at the same time to mine Bitcoin daily. This is actual Bitcoin that they can actually get, and in addition to like some points, and where points go, so they can also boost this points and mining Bitcoin points that they have, and then they can also use these points to actually get Bitcoin asset packs. So think of like getting stuff maybe Merlin or some other assets that are Bitcoin assets, and also be able to compete with their friends in the leaderboard. So it's just a really different environment than what we're used to on Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2. So through this low barrier of entry, we're hoping that this is the next wave of new users who will come in and actually learn more about Bitcoin, and through that get to explore actually on chain rather than through the app itself as well.
Interesting. So it's going to be kind of like for the Unicross Telegram mini app is going to be more of like a stepping stone for these Web 2 or very newbie Web 3 users, and then making them feel more comfortable. And when they feel more comfortable, then they can do the more in-depth, like directly on chain stuff. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So it's more of like, now you have these assets, what are you going to do with it? You can just sell it, or you can experience the whole process that you've already learned, through the app, and then actually experience the whole environment that you can utilize, have Bitcoin Fi or DeFi kind of like experiences. Or you can just the easiest way is to sell it. But I believe, like, after learning something for some time, learning about the whole ecosystem, there is a good chance that most of them would actually want to participate in the ecosystem, and that is through education, what we're trying to do, and through this habit that we're going to encourage people to learn, and then you can get more out of learning.
I love it. I love it because it's almost kind of like curating like a community too, right? Because like you're teaching them by like baby steps, and then the one thing that's constant within the entire crypto space industry is cultism, right? Even on chains too, like there's cults for like Cardanos, there's cults for and like if you curate this community that feels like they're being taken care of and educated along the way, that's a trust that's built, right? And so I really love this approach by Unicross. I think it's genius. I think it fits you guys perfectly. I think it fits you too, Mr. J, kind of your personality, right? So kudos to you guys, and I think this is awesome.
Thank you. It's not easy, like, designing these programs, I would say, but at the end of the day, it really helps the whole ecosystem. I think Emblem Vault was talking about like collaborations. This is also a way for us to collaborate with our various partners, and let people experience different things. In terms of an Emblem Vault, I was talking to them, I think, quite some time ago, and they really have this vision of being allowing like these assets to be used interchangeably, notably these NFT assets. And I really like the way that they're doing it, as it's really like silly, the whole ecosystem, different layer 2s, they're all like fragmented. So just makes sense to really have something that unifies or aggregates all these different ecosystems together. I think that is a very good direction to go as well.
Yeah, and I think my last question for you is kind of like, what's a possible kind of collaboration, I guess, or how could Emblem Vault and Unicross fit in the Merlin ecosystem? Because there is some similarities in terms of onboarding assets, but I feel like you guys kind of more specialize in like runes and bitmaps and turning those into fungible tokens, and then you know, those kind of things. And maybe they focus on the stuff that they've been, you know, have a little bit more expertise in. And some of those are new asset classes possibly to Merlin, like for example counterparty stuff. I mean, how cool would it be to have like rare Pepes on Merlin, but they would kind of be like heading that initiative? Is that kind of something to where you could see a coexisting of these two protocols?
Yeah, we don't actually do counterparty or stamps. And even if they were to do like ordinals, it's actually better in a way where there can be a lot of service providers. It doesn't really necessarily have to be a competition. Just like how there are different layer twos, for example, on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. All of these different layer twos have their own culture, and in a way, it's good to work together with everyone. We need all the resources we have on Bitcoin to really push the narrative forward. There's not really a foundation per se for Bitcoin. So everyone is actually part of the foundation for Bitcoin. And the whole goal is for everyone, all builders and users, to come together and make Bitcoin fun again. Yeah.
I love it. Pushing the narrative forward. I think we gotta call one of our episodes that. That was a really good term. So it feels like every single project on Merlin is building on Telegram. Is Jeff just like telling you guys, calling you guys in the middle of the night, saying build on Telegram, build on Telegram, or is this something that like potentially you guys like really just think and believe in?
So I would say Jeff did play a big part in this, but it also takes a lot of I would say a lot on the projects themselves, ourselves as well, to actually believe that and see this vision and test it out for ourselves. And after testing out a lot of these different apps, I feel like this is a very big possibility. And this is just the beginning for all these different mini apps on Telegram. There's even like people in my own circles, IRL, who are actually going into Telegram to learn more about crypto. So it's really a no-brainer actually once you are kind of exposed to it. So yeah, I would say Jeff really did point us in the right direction. And for us, we actually saw that vision and we actually experienced it, tested it out for ourselves, and yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, we like Jeff's got us build bulls from Telegram, and I don't think we've ever really thought about it that way. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he told us about it for the first time, and we were kind of blown away. And I think like once someone puts the idea in your head and you actually do the research, you can kind of see, that is the next wave. That is where the users are going to be coming from. And we don't people don't care about back end. I mean, we do. I care about the back end, but people don't. But the people that don't, they can still use it, and that's going to become in the face of Telegram. And I think it's genius. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, like, the easiest way of onboarding is like not really realizing that you're actually using crypto in a way. And sometimes there are even like really big chains, I'm not going to name names, that are actually not really decentralized, but people think they're decentralized and they still use it a lot. So it's really more about the user experience at this point. What happens in the back end, at the end of the day, they would probably learn about it after some time. But it's all about getting them into this either a habit or a higher frequency of using it, and then slowly work backwards from there as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. I remember last cycle, towards the end, I like showed my wife like how to utilize, like how to stake something using MetaMask, and she was like, "Why is there like 10 steps between everything?" Right? And I think that's like a perfect example of like the everyday user. And I think it starts at Telegram, and I think Telegram is going to be huge for this. And I love that Merlin is leading innovation in the Bitcoin ecosystem with this. But I think it's going to just start there, and then there's going to be other service providers that have something similar. It's going to start here, and I'm excited. But any last words, Mr. J, for the audience about Unicross?
I would say that we are working really hard behind the scenes. Catch us on Spaces, or actually you can catch us every week on this amazing show, Merlin Mondays. But we'll be making more appearances once we're done with some things. It's just been really, really busy. Haven't had the time to do a lot of Spaces ourselves, but our team is growing, and we'll be having more improvements coming up in the future. And I just want to add as well that Merlin started with innovating on Bitcoin, and they haven't stopped. It's very constant. So this is one thing that I really admire about Jeff. He's always trying to think for the betterment of Bitcoin. Whether ordinals are dead, ordinals are alive, ordinals are on the moon, it doesn't really matter. It's always like innovation.
Yep, I agree.
Amazing. Yeah, man, I agree. And just to let you know, if you're interested, we would love to do a tutorial on your Telegram app when you guys are ready and it's live, and we could definitely showcase that to everyone.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Mr. J, it was awesome having you on, like always. Until next time, we will talk to you soon.
Cheers.
All
See you,
right, bye.
bud. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I have 480 people interested in Merlin Mondays that we do every week, guys. Like, I mean, imagine if someone did this in the early days of Polygon, having like a Polygon Monday or something. Like, we're talking about early, late 2019, early 2020, and you learned about all these things during that time. How much ahead would you have been? And so that's why we do this. We do this to educate you guys. But just imagine this. This is the last thing I'll say about this. There's supposed to be 12 mini apps right now, right? Just let's say just one or two of those just take off. You're talking about like, highly addictive type of apps, like a Tinder experience or whatever, right? Not dating, but like, swiping or whatever. How many users could that be, right? Even if you just got like 0.01% of the total Telegram users, you're talking about like 500,000 users, right? And that's huge for one app. So that's why I'm super bullish on that. But
100%, yeah. Same. I feel the same way. And I didn't even think that this was even possible, right? Like I use Telegram. We use Telegram every day. I mean,
we do.
One of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning, I check Twitter, I check Telegram. Telegram, every one of our partners, we have a Telegram group with, and we try to stay up in point and make sure that guys, they have all the information they need to definitely be successful. That's the point of being a partner of ours. But to actually put gaming in those groups chats and stuff like that, and potential of gambling and even dating, like who knows, right? But I'm just saying, but
Dating.
I didn't even think that was even possible, right? Like, and now these guys are taking Merlin, which is going to be phenomenal in my opinion, and using Telegram as a front end. It's just genius.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll just go back to kind of like how we are as humans, and convenience. When you go buy something, you use your debit card. You don't know what's happening in the back end, but us, we do. We will know because we're in the space and stuff. But guys, we appreciate all 483. Shizzy has a big, huge announcement right now. It's humongous. No, I'm just kidding.
So Foxy Bitminer Cosmic is now mining TAP tokens. This was something that we were allowed to talk. We had a meeting with them this morning, and we were allowed to talk about. And I just wanted to hit on this before we leave because this is a big deal. And if you have a Cosmic, you will be earning TAP tokens. As you can see right now, I'm earning 33,691 bit Foxy. These are actually 1-to-1 to the token. I am mining B Stone and B Steel and B Timber. I will be able to build on my bitmap using these assets right here. And obviously the B Foxy token is going to be the main coin on the chain. But as of starting today, they just went and they bought up TAP tokens. They got a really good price for them. But what they're doing with them, they're actually giving them away to people who have a Cosmic, and you're staking them. And the rumor has it is that they're going to be doing something similar with maybe another Bitcoin layer 1 asset for the Ultra Mystics and potentially the Mystics later on, maybe even the Legendaries. So if you guys don't have a Bitminer, I definitely recommend you shooting your shot, go to Mscribe, shooting your shot, and potentially you could get a cosmic, which you're going for hundreds of dollars. And I think the cost price right now is $70. There's still a few thousand left. So if you guys are interested, head over to mscribe.io and you will be able to see the bit miner and take a chance and see which one you get. It's up to you how many chances you want to get, but just know these assets have utility, and that utility is mining on it's a miner.mybitverse.com. I'll actually put the link in the show notes for you guys later.
Yep. Not sure how long the tap mining is going to be, but if you have Cosmic, be on top of that, because taps obviously, has that value. And then they did confirm that the second most rare, which is the Ultra Mystic, will have the next campaign for something similar to that. But anyhow, we appreciate all 486 of you guys watching us live, hanging out with us. I know sometimes our voice is probably annoying or boring, but you guys love us so much, and we love you so much that you guys are hanging out with us this entire time. But if you do have a moment, please check out our partners, guys. BetBTC. Shizzy was testing that all weekend. We made a tutorial video, which will be released soon. Amazing experience. You guys will be able to check them out very, very soon, because their mainnet is in beta, but it's only for selected people, but it will be live very soon. BetBTC, it's a predictions market for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You'll be able to utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology. Very seamless, easy process. You can place bets. We did it over the weekend. It's going to be very, very fun. We're going to have Wager Wednesdays. I'm going to take all Shizzy's money, and that's how it's going to go. And then we have Bitperp, which, as you guys know, a lot of you guys are participating in their paper trading competition. They are a perpetual leverage DEX that is launched in testnet right now on BitLayer, Core, and I think it's, what's the third one? BOB?
BitLayer, B squared,
B squared.
Core now. B squared.
Yeah. And so you can claim your 10,000 USDT, the paper USDT, and you can start trading. And the highest P&L after about 4 or 5 weeks is going to win 100,000 BTP. So make sure you participate so you can get familiar with the application. And if you have any questions, just let us know. Ordinal Hive is a aggregator for layer 1 and layer 2. They weren't able to make it today because Fonzie was teaching a class, but he should be back next week. But they are an aggregator marketplace for ordinals. So you're going to be able to find the cheapest node monks, the cheapest puppets, the cheapest Billy Cats on Ordinal Hive. You can do it on layer 1 Bitcoin, or faster and cheaper experience on layer 2 with Merlin Chain. You can list, buy, and sell to earn points. Right now, buying and selling gives you more points, but you can earn points by just listing. And if you're on Merlin Chain and you have something bridged over, just list them, because you can, earn points. Just price it high or something if you don't want to sell it. It's just dumb to not earn the points, because it's going to be like how Blur was, to where those points will turn into rewards. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Foxy, we just talked about them. They're bit miners. Make sure if you do have a bit miner that you're making sure it's active every single day, because if it's not active, you aren't earning. They are building on tap in the tap ecosystem, the Bitverse, and also Clan Wars. We're going to give you guys more information about the sniper rifles, which are exclusive, by the way. The only sniper rifles in the Clan Wars first-person shooter games will be the Ordinal Revolution sniper rifles, but we'll get you guys more information on that very, very soon. We're just wrapping some things up there. Check out Foxy, guys. That first-person shooter game is going to be very, very fun. And then Fluid tokens. The staking vaults are wrapping up, the first couple of them. You'll be able to claim or pull out your Billy Cats tomorrow, and your reward of $1 billion cat rune, as well as I think the rune stones as well. But anyways, there's going to be more staking vaults. These guys are UTXO wizard devs. They came over from Cardano. Raul and his team, man, they're doing something big in terms of operability, interoperability, liquidity flowing from Cardano to Bitcoin, vice versa, bridge, all that kinds of stuff. So keep your eye on Fluid tokens. If you want to swap runes, you can do it there as well. They break up the runes for you, so you don't have to split anything up. It's a swap. It's really simple. And last but not least, of course, is Merlin Chain, guys, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. Just like Emblem Vault did, apply for the builder grant if you're a builder and you want to have your protocol a little bit more flexible. You're a builder on Bitcoin, you want to have it a little bit quicker and better experience for users, you can reach out to Merlin Chain, fill out the application for the grant, and they are amazing at builder support, guys. Also, if you're a user and you want, let's say you have bitmaps, you want to transform those into bitmap tokens, you can utilize Unicross. You heard from Mr. J. Or if you just want to trade runes, you can do that on Merlin Swap. So check out Merlin Chain, guys. And thank you guys so much for checking out all our partners and supporting us, guys. You don't understand how much this means to us.
100%. And Big Rob had the comment of the day. He said, "Nah, they need to enable mining for tap on uncommon miners. Tell Foxby meet me in the car parking lot after work." I love Big Rob. That's my
Meet me
guy.
outside. How about that?
But comment of the day. But guys, if you guys wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them really get started and caught up to where we're at. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, we have tickets there. You guys can get the cheapest tickets this year. If you wait till next year, it's going to be so much more expensive, guys. Do not wait till next year to get your tickets. Every Friday, it seems like it goes up in price, but we will both be there. It's going to be a great time. Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas during a bull run. Think about it. Don't wait, guys. And NordVPN. If you are having trouble going to sites, it is not your government that's stopping you. It is the site itself. You are allowed privacy. You can use a NordVPN. We have a 70% off coupon. Honestly, you shouldn't even go into any website. You shouldn't be going to Macy's.com without a VPN because they can find out where you live. And so do not go anywhere without a VPN. And if you need a VPN, come here and get the 70% off coupon there. And guys, we do have some of the best merch in all of crypto and definitely in Bitcoin. I don't see anyone matching the merch that we have. So definitely check out our Shopify. It is done through a third party. We do not see your address. We do not see any of that. We are not sitting in our basements bagging these up and packing them. That is not what we're doing. We make a few bucks off the images that we give them and we add them where we want them to be. So definitely check out our Shopify and everything at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, real quickly, we have a super chat. Mr. Yagobi, catch tap at $3.05. You are a freaking bullish enough. I changed half of my track in the ton of tap. My God, $150, my target. Wow. Huge.
Remember he was asking us what we should do, and we said we were more bullish on tap for now, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully you did well there. Appreciate the super chat, Ernesto Gonzalez, one of our biggest fans there.
And real quick, guys, we're thinking about doing something, but we're not 100% sure about it. We're thinking about doing a course, kind of getting people caught up what's going on Ordinals. We're going to have potential to have special speakers, some people from all around the space, some really big names potentially speaking. We're trying to think of how we want to do it. If you guys would be interested in a class from Ordinal Revolution, that when you end the class, it'll be a 7-day boot camp. And when you end that class, you'll have a one-on-one with either me or Yagobi. You get to pick which one of us you want to do your 1 hour. Yeah, so your 1 hour end of the class. Congratulations speech, but you guys can ask us anything and really get to know us personally if that's your choice, or you can just ask us as much questions about any asset and our opinions on it. So that we're thinking about doing a 7-day course. Let us know if you're interested. It probably won't be till late November, December that we're going to go through with it, and maybe we'll do it monthly if there's people that want to do it. These classes will be very small, between 10 and 15 people. If you're interested, again, just put it in a comment below. Just comment so we know we should keep moving forward with this or jump to the next idea that we have. But we appreciate you guys. We're live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 p.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. moon with no calls. I get so far, got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty, where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.